Tactical lighting. We got the dirty lo-fi beats. Let's do this.
Yeah, we got a different streaming platform, a little slightly disorienting, but we'll survive.
Yes, we will.
And I am getting the website ready to reflect the URL of the stream.
Boom, boom.
Very nice. He must have some creator tools that I'm not seeing.
Probably, yeah.
That's cool.
The word of the day is flexibility.
That's correct. I'm good with that.
All
100% good with that, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are on Facebook, or I assume we're streaming live on YouTube as well, I'm guessing that Rob has gone to a new platform to be able to stream on more, including perhaps even Twitter and Instagram. My guess. Regardless, if you are hearing my voice, we will begin our regularly scheduled programming shortly.
Until then, enjoy these dirty Zen beats.
Dirty, dirty.
Dirty, dirty. How's the microphone sounding, Dean?
Sounds great.
Good.
Sounds fantastic.
Good.
Yeah, really good. In fact, I don't even have mine plugged in. I just have my old my USB like Bluetooth thing.
Right on. I need to work on creating us a new logo.
Roger that. Huh. So can I share my desktop here? I'll have to figure that out in a minute.
Let me shut off my beats.
All right. All right. So, how's the world treating you?
Pretty good. Played Dungeons and Dragons for like 5 hours the other day. It was nice. It was real nice. My character almost died, but that's all right. That's all right.
So I'm hearing reports of Google outages.
All right.
Huh.
Thank you for joining us.
Hey.
I am your host and comrade, Rob. This is the For We Are Many podcast. This is one of our many current event streams. Dean,
Yes, sir. How may I be of service?
You wanna
Welcome
introduce
to
yourself?
the For We Are Many current events live stream, or my name is Dean. Which would you prefer? I'm Dean. I'm the guy talking. My pronouns are he, him, and we. We.
We. Don?
Hello, everybody. If you're hearing my voice, my name is Don Hughes. I dropped the good news. I really think that it was a good idea, but unless I'm giving you guys news about puppies, there's no real good news right now. So I'm just
Well,
gonna give you the
it's
news.
limiting, right? Who wants to be tied to that specific function, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
understand.
and the world is not always good news. So we're dropping that. Lord Sterling has entered the chat.
Greetings. Can you hear me?
Let me finish my my intro. Well, actually, fuck it. Sterling, go.
Okay. Hi, my name is Sterling, and I'm here with all of you. That's it.
Indeed. Brian in the chat says hello, comrades. I can put that on the
Cheers,
screen now. Isn't that dope? And Jakata also said, "Hey, what's up?" Experiment with StreamYard for the first time. I'm liking some of these features.
So tell me, are we streaming on Twitter and or Instagram and or both now?
We are streaming on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube.
Fantastic.
Hey, it's really cool how the comments pop up on the screen like that.
Yeah, that's part of why I wanted to use this. And you know, like I said, I can see pop it up on, and if we post a comment, we can have it go to all three of the posts at the same time. So that's
Very
cool.
Interesting.
Nice. Very
Fantastic.
nice.
So I'm just gonna go ahead, everyone, and grab the live stream link and take it to the website.
Yeah, let's
Publish that now. So everyone who does follow there will see that.
So guys, we got some heavy breaking news to cover. I don't know when you guys want to
Go for it,
talk
bro.
about
I mean, go
that.
for it. Yeah. I think you're pretty well versed and prepared, so rock it.
All right, hold on. Let me pull up the link on my my secondary screen here because I don't want to misquote anything and I don't want to give you guys bad intel.
I think I can speak for all of us by saying I think we're in good hands.
Fucking laptops. I should have, instead of buying a mic, I should have bought a fucking mouse for this damn thing. There
Emily
is...
says hi.
Family.
And Natalie also says good evening. Hello, Emily and Natalie. Good to see
Good
you
evening,
again.
Natalie.
Whoa,
Hi, Emily.
dude. Man, your voice sounds fantastic. Great job.
I expect to be reimbursed by the company for that. All right, let me
I owe my soul to the company store.
let me make sure that they okay, they still have not caught this guy.
He's he's at large, right? That's what I'm
Yeah,
gathering.
he is at large. From what I'm reading here, he is still at large. The situation as it stands, and as far as I understand this, all time will be in local time in Colorado, whatever that is. I want to say Mountain. I hit a paywall.
Yeah.
But as of 5:10 local time, there was an active shooter at a grocery store in Boulder, Colorado. He opened fire inside of King Super's store. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
I believe you are.
I am unaware right now if he has in fact, murdered anybody at this time. But from what I was reading, he fled out the back door and is at large.
There's cloudy
James-
reports of a second shooter nearby. I can't tell if that's just chatter or if that's actually happening.
What were you saying, Rob?
I was just saying, James said howdy. So I put it up on the screen and said howdy.
Hey, howdy, James.
I'm going to use that feature all night. I'm stoked about it.
It's pretty dope. So we have an active shooter at large in Colorado right now. If we have any listeners out here or anybody that listens to us in that area, please, if you see something suspicious, I'm not one to typically say call the cops, but what else do you do in this situation? Otherwise, keep your heads down, stay safe, try not to panic.
There was some confusion, right, where they brought a few folks out, right, and I can share the link that I have with you. They brought a fellow out who was bleeding. They brought an old man out. The guy who was bleeding was in handcuffs, and the old man wasn't. So for a while there, everyone watching and the media thought that they had arrested the shooter, but apparently not. And I'm not sure why they would have put that individual in handcuffs. He was literally bleeding out. I know if you look at that link, I'm going to warn you. And at about 2:10, you're going to see a bloody mess. At the very beginning of that stream, you're going to see what appears to be either dead or injured people, gravely injured. So I'm going to warn you right now. It's not for all audiences.
You want to post that link into the comments?
Yeah, I got to get there.
Okay.
But I will.
And remember, if you select all to do that, you can do that right from StreamYard.
Hey. Rob becoming the corporate shill for StreamYard, everybody.
No, it's a little more expensive than we currently use Restream, but it definitely seems to have more features. That said, I think that we should test StreamYard today and test Restream's broadcasting studio on Thursday.
All right.
So, of course, as usual, I'm going to go ahead and plug our Patreon. That's www.patreon.com/4wearemany. Any amount helps. Thank you. That is my public service announcement.
Elon, bud, listen. We have a special tier just for you. Please, if you're listening, Elon, Mr. Elon Musk, I don't know if we have to pay you every time I say your name, but eventually, if I say it enough, I'll get annoying and you'll throw us $100,000.
Just for 1 month, man. That's all we need. Just 1 month. Just one. Oh, man. How are you doing, Dean?
I am vigorous, virile, and potent.
Wow.
As, G. Gordon Liddy used to say in his, he used to have a
Roger.
long-running radio show that was just provocative and nuts. And if you don't know who he is, study your Nixon, study your Watergate. That's how he would say when people, how are you, Gordon? And he would say that every single time. And I always thought it was super cringy, but people fucking loved it.
Indeed. Well, I guess let's get this show on the road.
Right. When was
Well-
that?
We'll jump into mutual aid.
Hey.
Hey. So basically what I got is a thing from the Daily Princetonian. It's a letter to the editor by the looks of it. Hi, click the link in the chat. You can join us. Anyway, it's a letter to the editor type thing. Talking a mutual directed this. It's student. My immediate talking
Is it
about when
just
our
me,
mother
or is Rob
contracted
going
COVID.
down?
I might be twitching a bit because it's showing me a Wi-Fi signal thing. Connection
Okay.
is unstable. Cool.
We shall overcome.
The word of the day is
Well,
flexibility.
I mean, do you still hear me? Do you still hear me?
We do.
I feel you, bro.
So the matriarch of this family contracted COVID-19, and obviously the immediate worry is money. The mother had worked 2 jobs virtually since having kids, so how would they survive without her income? The only income. To add to the panic, they didn't qualify for government assistance because she owned and operated her own business. Point is the kids were living back at home. Times are more difficult. One thing led to another, and they needed help. So they reached out to, started with posting their Venmo, which I think that we've seen a lot of. I'm also going to drop this link in the comments because I can actually do that now.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you respond there. You must be logged in, and we are not. I'm not seeing a pathway to do that. But there's time for everything.
Well, you commented on the. Oh, right. You did the. You probably did it on Facebook itself. I got you.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, so the point is, within 2 days, they had enough to cover the rent with some left over. And after the fact, they wanted to get involved, which is kind of the whole idea. Today, me, tomorrow, you. Today, you, tomorrow, me, whatever. Point on the other. The quote, it says, to struggle, know the value of what it means to help. So basically, the mother saw somebody else's Venmo asking for help in a similar situation, and of course they were like, well, yeah. And somebody asked them why. Well, I mean, they wouldn't have got through if it wasn't for people helping them. So she ended up writing this article or opinion piece or whatever you want to call it, to genuinely thank everyone for their help, financial or otherwise, and to urge the more privileged among us to do more. Across a mutual aid request or asking campaign, please do all that you can. If you can only share it, do that. Share it. If you can spare, if you have spare money to give. If you're wealthy, give a lot. If you're Elon Musk, give everything.
Elon, baby.
Fucking asshole.
Anyway, that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. Is that and that's continuously what we see out of these situations. Is that somebody needs help, they get help, and then they're inclined to help others.
I can assure you that is the case, has been the case for me in many times in my past life. I can also tell you when it comes to just basic help, meaning my car ran out of gas or I'm broken down in some way. It's always been I hate to say this, guys, but it's always been quote unquote immigrants who have helped me without question. In fact, went way out of their way to help me in the past. So that has taught me a lesson that I've carried with me my whole life. So these dudes
So
gave me their last dollars, even, you know.
yeah, for sure. I have
Yeah.
another link I'm dropping in the comments. It's about mutual. It's a radio interview with some Texas organizers, including from Cooperation Denton. I haven't had a chance to actually read this and review it and see what it's all about. But I mean, that being said, we know what Cooperation Denton is about, and we know what Stop the Sweeps in Austin is about. We know what Mutual Aid Houston is about. So I mean, I think it's going to be a solid interview. I didn't get a chance to go ahead and listen to it myself today, but anyway, that'll take us out of mutual aid. We'll save women's rights for when Trish is actually able to get in here with us. So, with that said, looks like Dean, it's coming to you for the COVID stats, and I'll put that on the ticker. We have our own COVID stats site now. You see it on your screen. That is for wearemany.org/COVID-stats.
Yeah. So as predicted, two really hot locations are obviously the U.S. as we continue to increase, particularly in several states. This is not going to be an "I told you so" moment. I promise you. Just a few days of increases does not prove out what we talked about last week. It just means that in certain places, half the country actually, the cases are on the rise. Again, I think we talked about India. I am seeing, and this may not line up with what your experience has been, but I am seeing in some places and in some cases what I would call as a surplus of vaccines. That's why it's become suddenly so easy to accomplish appointments. I realize that may not be your individual experience. In fact, some places are reporting just a, 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 a vacuum of news and availability and inability to locate a vaccine. Stay persistent. Stay persistent. Stay persistent with your county health department. Stay persistent with your family doctor. If you're fortunate enough to have a primary care physician, don't be afraid to worry them to death, especially if you are managing the well-being of an older relative or loved one. That having been said, one of the places I think that you guys have there's two countries that I'm particularly concerned about it beyond Europe, because Italy, Spain, the UK, France, Germany, Turkey, they're still in what I would refer to as a runaway condition. But Brazil and India are the two that I'm really most concerned about, besides the U.S. Brazil in particular is pretty bad. They've been leading the world in deaths for. Mexico is on the rise, by the way, but they've been leading the world in deaths for quite some time. As we watch Mexico increase, keep your eyes on Texas, Louisiana. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to say this, ladies and gentlemen, but New Mexico and Arizona as well. This is a human-to-human spread.
Well, as I said before, we are back to 100% capacity in restaurants. Everything is reopening. Everybody thinks we're out of the woods. It's exactly like you warned.
Yeah, and the key takeaway here is not bad stuff's happening. The key takeaway is don't lower your guard. Don't lower your guard. Remain cautious. Don't let your I see Mary says she got her first dose. Oh, hopefully you got your first dose or your J&J. Natalie, you're scheduled for Moderna, and that's really great news. I know for some it may be difficult, and in fact, it might be rather unsettling or even frightening. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being concerned, with being, a little anxious. And, you know, I too, frankly, was anxious on the run up to the vaccine and following it. Right, I had all kinds of psychosomatic disorders. I convinced myself that I was having an allergic reaction. I was 100% fine. It's normal. This is a stressful time. I always say it, laugh or cry. Right, so just stay away from people. Don't drop your guard. This thing will sweep up from the south, and it'll sweep from the coast inward again for the third time. It'll be a whole new strain, and it'll behave like a whole new virus. Every time it mutates and runs amok, it's almost like another outbreak. And we're defenseless because we just can't do what's needed to be done to contain it. On a personal note, we've had a few scrapes with it personally. Uh, and we've had people that were not following the rules, not doing the things that they should do as far as safety and common sense precautions, and we've had to double down our own precautions as a result. So don't just let your mind, tell you it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'm not going to worry about it. It'll be fine. Yeah, worry about it. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of your actions, and treat every person you meet that you don't know, or you don't know where they've been if you do know them, as if they're infected. I'm sorry. I don't mean to sound like I'm lecturing or that I'm crying doom or I'm whatever. I just don't mean to be that guy. I don't like being that guy, but I feel compelled to.
I'll be that guy real quick. Not to beat a dead horse, but just to piggyback off of what Dean said. Complacency kills every time. Wear your masks, wash your hands, get the fucking vaccine.
Yeah, stay away from people. Like I always say, apparently this disease is spread between humans, so stay away from human beings the best you can. Thank you, Rob.
No problem. Anything else you want to say on COVID?
I'm good to go.
All right, so now we're going to go into major political happenings. This one's probably going to be a little bit over, all over the place today because, we made the presentation for this before the events of today.
Oh,
But
sure, but that's okay.
we'll get to that in a minute. We have Defense Secretary Austin talking about strengthening ties with India. And remember that there is a political revolution happening in India right now. A borderline violent revolution happening in India right now. And it's like our state is going to back their state. But anyway, point is the defense secretary is basically trying to get India to buy U.S. shit instead of Russian shit.
Of course. We've been doing that. When I was stationed over in Germany, we did a training mission with the Bulgarians, which was simply us trying to sell them Stryker combat vehicles. This is nothing new.
Right.
Yeah.
We got to make capital. We need money.
Yep.
Plus,
so basically, long story short, India was going to buy the S-400 Russian air defense system, and the U.S. is trying to say that we're going to that there's a possibility of sanctions if they do so.
Keep in mind, Rob, with these combat systems that we sell them, the only place they can buy replacement parts is the United States and her allies.
Yep. Yup. Haha. All right. The U.S. is preparing to expand a phased entry of migrants forced to stay in Mexico under Trump-era policy. Remember how we like beating this like dead horse that nothing was going to be different about Biden compared to Trump? Well, nothing is different.
No, of course not.
This article is, of course not, exactly. So the Biden administration is preparing to expand the phased entry of migrants who were forced to stay in Mexico under a Trump-era policy to 2 additional ports of entry. Ooh. Beginning next week, after registering virtually and being tested for COVID at staging sites in Mexico, approved individuals with active migrant protection protocol cases will be processed at the Hidalgo, Texas port of entry. Adding that processing will also start in Laredo, Texas, sometime after that. Yeah, I mean, it's talking about how for months officials talked about rolling back the policy, but they still haven't. I don't consider this a rollback, really. They're still keeping refugees in Mexico. They're still deporting children. They're still families. Nothing is changed. Jakarta said, I'll be on Orion Herald on Anchor on Wednesday. That's pretty cool. Jakarta, you could get us a link when that happens?
Yeah, if you can do that, we can blast you on ours.
He's going to be on there to talk about the Green Party and the election.
Oh, good.
So that's cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. If you can, like I said, if you can get us a link, we can talk about it more. He said will do. Cool. Oh, moving on. Believe that's going to bring us into international news. Sure is.
We are making
so we're going to talk about. Yeah, I suppose we are.
It feels
so. The first article, of course,
streamlined.
Streamlined.
I wasn't even that close to the mic, Rob.
So
no, it's outstanding, man. I can't get over it. If we've all got reasonable mics, we might consider recording locally.
We're holding Rob up.
No, I'm trying to actually.
Are you?
Go ahead.
I guess I could turn down my resolution. I figured out how to get to that.
Hey.
Yeah, guys, so just like any kind of streaming audio and video, if you kind of ratchet down the video, if you can even if we have to, we can force video, we turn video off. That'll help with if you're having audio issues. When Trish joins, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, but this one, just based on what I'm testing in the background here, is pulling a little bit more data than Zoom.
Well, yeah, but I mean, on my end, it's probably more, or it's probably less because I was doing Zoom plus Restream before.
Correct. That's a good point. You would have had incoming and outgoing video. Here we're all outgoing to one source, and it's doing it on the back end. So that should improve you, but Still pulling a little more data. So.
I had my resolution set all the way up. I don't know if it helped if I turned it down, but I did.
Mine is too, but guys, I have 1 gigabyte fiber up and down. So sorry.
Oh, fair enough, man.
I have Cox cable internet, and it's the cheap plan.
It's okay. It's probably not that. What it is it's likely your machine is struggling to keep up with the IO a little bit.
Well, I mean, I'm running on double the RAM that I was yesterday, so
yeah, and that's good. That'll help with Chrome, right? But it won't help with things going in and out.
Yeah,
IO, yeah. Chrome's a hog, guys. It's a terrible hog. It'll eat your machine. I'm not saying don't use it. I'm just saying expect problems.
The funny thing is I used Ubuntu Linux for a while, and I used Chromium on there. And
I love Chromium.
I never had any of the issues that I do with Chrome, even though it's the same source code.
Yeah, actually, it's a little more stable and a little more secure, Chromium.
Anyway, so doctors are protesting in Myanmar as the crackdown is taking more lives. I don't know what the final, well, it's not final if it's still happening, but I don't know what the death count is up to. Frankly, I don't know that I want to know. Point is whether or not they're being killed, people are still in the streets. People are still doing whatever they can to resist. So there was a doctor-led protest, and I mean, it's typical shit. They took to the streets and they're chanting and yada yada yada, and it gets cracked down on by the cops. Surprise, surprise. So the Independent Assistance Association for Political Prisoners had verified at least 247 deaths nationwide. It says the actual total, including cases where verification has been difficult or hasn't happened yet, is probably much higher. Virtually all of the deaths were due to gunshot wounds. And the same Assistance Association for Political Prisoners has confirmed 2,345 arrests, with 1,994 still detained. Yeah. So the situation is still the same in Myanmar. And the farmers' protests in India are still happening. Sorry, I got a story from India today on that. As usual, though, it's still. I mean, they're saying that there's no compromise. We expected that. Jakarta, to answer your question, we were previously streaming through Restream and then locally recording from Zoom. But right now we're recording through StreamYard. Anyway, so in India, there we go. Man, you guys are talkative today.
Sorry, I was doing a little last minute gathering of intel for my portions.
We always kind of count on you for your ethical care and your responsibility, my friend.
I have something from history I want to talk about today, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Rob, continue what you were saying.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Anyway, so the point is, though, like you read through this whole article, there's not a lot about specific things happening. BKU leader, who is present, said the fight is for economic freedom. The center is acting as an agent of capitalists. All assets of the nation are on sale. The economy is in distress. Well, doesn't that sound fucking familiar? So basically, they feel like the 3 laws that they've been protesting for half a fucking year are selling them out. Well, they are. That's it. That's all I have to say about that. And that's exactly why there's still thousands of people in the streets. So next, we are moving into Power of a Strike. Hooray. What's up, Dean?
Well, I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you did. I don't know if I'm just checking to make sure this isn't part of any other part of our stream. You guys see what went down in Miami?
No, fill me in.
Oh shit. So we started about Saturday night, and Sunday we started seeing reports from major news media about police cracking down on unauthorized gatherings, right? So they basically, Florida, this is Miami Beach. So Florida sent the message out pretty much to the world, hey, we're open, you can eat indoors, you can run around unmasked, and come on down, it's party time. And next thing I know, the cops are cracking down on revelers, I would call it, because I'm old. This is Fort Myers and other places. Well, so we're watching these cops basically shooting rubber bullets at people, pepper spray, pellets, and general whole lot of riot stuff. We look a little closer. Sure enough, they're all people of color. And I'm surprised that this didn't capture you guys' attention. So I'm happy to share some links. I'm trying to find some video. And I will probably interrupt with some video.
Jakarta said thank you for having his stuff on the website. And I just wanted to say thank you for doing it.
Correct. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I kind of feel like there's a partnership there, but it's good stuff, and I've watched everything, so thank you.
Is that all you do, Dean? You just watch things?
Oh, you'd be surprised. I sometimes read too.
Whoa.
Dean has seen the entire internet. Twice.
Twice, yeah, pretty much. Now, can I find it again once I've seen it? No.
I imagine that when you enter the internet, you appear much like the thing from Tool's Vicarious
with all the eyes.
Music video with all the eyes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, cool. So it cuts to me when I'm doing this weird shit with my hand. Okay.
Yes, it does.
All right.
Yes, it does.
All right.
I forgot that I have to do that now because it doesn't automatically track the speaker. Yay.
Yay. Hey.
All right.
Hey.
So, God, you sound great. Man, I probably should get a mic stand because I would sound better too.
Yeah, I have mine up on a box and I have like a black t-shirt over the box to hide it.
I should have a black t-shirt over my head.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
God dang paywalled articles. That's all I'm coming up with. So give me a minute, guys. Now, continue. I'm gonna interrupt us any further. But
Okay.
I will find
Okay.
I will find what I'm looking for. I always do.
Oh, Dean. Okay, so I'm going to start off with an article from the World Socialist website, and it's about a Detroit area Dr. Pepper 7-Up distribution facility in Redford, which is west of Detroit, for those of you that don't know. They've been on strike since March 11th. It's almost 3 months after the contract expired. Teamsters Local 337 was finally forced to call a strike under pressure from workers who were angry over the dragging out of negotiations. The strike was called by the Teamsters as an unfair labor practice strike rather than a contract dispute, raising the possibility that the strike could be unilaterally ended before a ratified contract agreement is in place. Management has continued operations throughout the strike using scab labor. Surprise. According to a Facebook post, company security guards assaulted a Teamster business agent Wednesday and spewed racial slurs. Meanwhile, the corporate media has maintained a complete news blackout of the strike. And that's why we don't hear about strikes often, you guys. It's not because they don't happen, although they don't happen as much as they should. It's because the media doesn't talk about them. Why would they? Why would the capitalist media speak against the capitalists? Anyway, the current contract negotiations affect about 90 workers within the warehouse, as well as beverage distribution drivers. According to Local 337, there were 2 separate pay tiers implemented for workers hired before and after 2005. Warehouse workers hired before 2005 make $2.30 more than the workers hired after. I'm surprised that's all it is, honestly. But this is a pretty common practice. Anyway, since the beginning of the pandemic, the plant has had workers on 12-plus hour shifts running at roughly 130% capacity. Yeah, that's brutal.
Man.
Local 337 also represents Cisco delivery drivers in Monroe, Michigan, who struck 1 year ago after a first contract. Wow. So, Local 337 business agent Tony Reisdorf, in a video interview recorded by UAW local officials, pointed to 3 issues in the contract negotiations: pay disparity between warehouse workers, non-CDL driver positions at half pay, and MLK Day as a paid holiday. He noted that KDS had been operating over full capacity for the last year, adding, quote, "We're very thankful because we've had a lot of people struggling. Well, we're thankful we had that, but they busted their butts all on their backs to make this company record profits." Exactly. What's the point? They didn't make those profits. Well, I mean, they did produce those profits, but they didn't make those profits. The UAW Region 1A issued a statement in support of the strike, noting the assault on pickets by company security thugs. However, the UAW proposed no official action in support of the strike, other than to call for a boycott of 7-Up and Dr. Pepper products. So if you're hearing this today, don't buy 7-Up, don't buy Dr. Pepper, don't buy anything they make. Support labor. You got anything you want to say, Dean?
No, it threw me out of the stream. I'm sorry. I'm not sure why. It just happened. Second time.
So, anyway, World Socialist website, Detroit, everyone, power of a strike.
Yep.
Um,
To make that man his dirty dollar. Anything that disrupts that is good. Hey, I found the article, and I also have a little video.
Okay, go ahead.
So the people are in Miami Beach again. The city leadership claims to have become overwhelmed by spring break celebrations. Decided at the 11th hour on Saturday night that they needed to enact a curfew. And within just an hour or two after making that decision, they sent the police in riot gear, which is something that, since a great majority of the quote unquote crowd was African American. And I'm going to stream, or I'm going to share, but I'm not going to share audio. And I'm really going to share, you betcha. So, as you can see here, these guys are, look at spring break, having fun. Nobody's masked. This is mayhem, guys. And it's, like I said, these are predominantly people of color. And this is not, I'm going to stop. Fair use is 30 seconds. I don't want to get us into trouble. I went so far as to approve the closing of of Ocean Drive, which is I've not been there, but I've heard about it. It's a well-known, long-time gathering spot. So, pretty nasty business.
Yeah, it looked pretty chaotic.
That it did. Of course they responded with force, though.
Yeah, flat out force, right? Riot force. It wasn't I did, last night, and apparently this happened very late Saturday night after midnight. I didn't see anybody really honestly misbehaving. I think that they, a lot of black folks started to gather, and the white folks that run the city freaked out. I think that's literally what happened. But if you know, or if you've heard from a family or friends or loved ones, let us know what the hell is really going on in the streets right down there. I'd like to know.
I think it's safe to say that we all probably do.
But it oddly seems to be mostly silent on Twitter. Not a whole lot of conversation about this. It surprises me.
Solidarity, Natalie. She said no problem giving up any other any of 7-Up's products.
Well, roger that.
So the next thing is nurses. This is a recurring theme a lot lately, frankly. I'm sorry, I'm waiting on the page to load. Maybe. Well, while I'm waiting on that to load, this has been a pretty common thing. Honestly, we've seen a lot of nurses, particularly, being mistreated. They've been going to bat for us since this fucking thing started, and we're just overworking them, to put it bluntly.
Yeah. Yeah, not blunt. Real.
Nurses at Madison Meritor have filed charges with the Federal Labor Board against the hospital ahead of a possible strike. And last month we were talking about a nurse strike that lasted a couple of weeks, at least that I know of. Okay, so the president of the union, the IBEW Local 159, says they were caring and advocated for us when we needed them to. Now it's our turn to advocate for them. Well said. Nurses are exhausted, but nevertheless ask over and over again to work extra shifts to fill staffing gaps. That's according to Dane County's NAACP Executive Director, Bill Franks. So they're asking for their 2022 pay increase to be 3.8% instead of 3.7%, while keeping the 2021 3.7% increase the same. It also includes another 10 hours added to vacation and sick time. So the chief nursing executive, Sherry Casali, said, "We've heard from them kind of their top areas of concerns and priorities. We're ready and willing to negotiate into the evening, into the wee hours of the morning, willing to negotiate over the weekend." If they're willing to negotiate, they would give these nurses what they're asking for, point blank. That's my take on it. Anybody else have anything to say on that?
No, actually, I quite rather agree with you.
Indeed. All right, so we're moving on into climate change.
Hold on. Go back to Power of a Strike, because the thing I shared in Slack goes under
I take it
loosely.
I take it you didn't put it in the thing.
No, but it'll be quick. I'm just gonna read the first like 4 paragraphs of this guy's article. The gentleman who wrote this, his name is James Clark. He originally wrote this on 28 July 2020 on taskandpurpose.com. I'm going to drop a link in the comments. I suggest checking it out, especially if you're interested in American history and things like this. Let me begin. 89 years ago, thousands of U.S. military veterans gathered their belongings and began a long march across the country to Washington, D.C. Once there, they pitched their canvas tents in neatly ordered rows and dug in for a long fight. By the summer of 32, what began as a small movement in Portland, Oregon, had steamrolled into a national demonstration, bringing together a socially, economically, and racially diverse coalition under a single banner, with each participant bound by a shared experience. When their country called them, they answered. Numbering as many as 25,000 strong, with families and children in tow, they called themselves the Bonus Expeditionary Force, but colloquially, I didn't pronounce that right at all, became known as the Bonus Army. These World War I veterans, like many demonstrators before and since, gathered to demand that the government keep its word. In their case, it was the early payment of a bonus that they had been promised following victory in the First World War. Through the Adjusted Compensation Act of 1924, the funds were set to be doled out in 1945. Originally, the bonuses were to be paid immediately, but for budget reasons, they were delayed by 2 decades. 5 years after the bill was passed, the Great Depression hit. And by 1932, the financial crisis had reached its peak. Amidst the economic fallout, the promise of deferred payments amounted to a shriveled carrot dangling from the end of a very long stick. On July 19th of that year, retired Marine Major General Smedley Butler took to the stage at the largest bonus army camp located in the Anacostia Flats, a swampy stretch of ground outside Washington, D.C. There he launched into a fiery speech that remains relevant to military veterans and Americans at large, even to this day. I'm not going to read the general's words. There's video. He does the best job. I could never hope to speak for him. But check it out. It is a part of our history. It took place from May 1932 to July 1932. So yeah, that was all I had for today. Thanks, guys.
Excellent, Don. Thank you.
Rob, remember you gotta remember to switch it over to somebody else, man. Rob, remember you gotta remember to switch it over to
Hello.
Hey, what's up, man? Is everything
How
okay?
you doing? Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I forgot
Not
nobody can do this in this one.
Yeah,
Besides me.
I said something and yeah. Get it off me, man. I already talked.
So basically I'm gonna drop this link. This has been a common thing today, I know, but I'm gonna drop this link in the comments to an article. Actually, it's not the article I thought it was. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah,
So
hey,
I'm gonna start the segment by saying, if possible, reduce the amount of farm meat you're eating. You know, either if you have the space to have an animal, go ahead. If you have the space to hunt, go ahead. Or make some plant-based meals. I'm in the process of trying to do meatless Mondays. So, yeah. Point is, it might not seem like you can do a lot yourself, but every little bit helps. Anybody else have anything to throw out about your environmental living or meatless Mondays or whatever?
If you are not a vegan, do what you can to source your meat naturally. Go out, go hunting, get meat that is not raised on a factory farm. There are a lot of options.
Can I go to somebody else's farm and shoot their meat?
No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works.
To Tyson's farm and shoot their meat?
No, fuck no.
Oh.
No, you'll probably get
I mean,
shot
I'm all for that,
but we have a lot of state land. And that's okay, Dean. If you don't want to hunt yourself, I can hunt for you.
Natalie, I do meat Saturday to Sunday. I'm assuming that means that she's a vegetarian or a vegan.
Hell yeah, Nat. I have a vegan ham recipe for you that is amazing. I'll try to get it out there one of these days. Seriously, it's smoked watermelon. It's fantastic.
I probably should have brought it up earlier, but I guess it does have to do with climate change. We did a park cleanup today. Me and Emily did, and well, the city called me on Friday and told me not to do it, pretty much. But I went out.
Yeah, what the hell?
Fucking did it. Yeah, so they called me and left me a voicemail at like 4:05 on Friday, telling me that I could not do my park cleanup because we did not submit a COVID mitigation plan and get a special use permit. But we went out and did it fucking anyway, as I just said, because what the fuck? But it was just Emily and I, and we did, we filled up 4 33-gallon bags. So, I mean, not bad for 2 hours, roughly. 2 people.
2 people just doing the good work, picking up garbage, just looking out, just trying to improve their local scene in the city. What do they imagine? Like a battalion of people just swooping down in the park, breathing all over everything? What did they expect? Just a couple of folks picking trash up.
Dude.
You know?
Dean, I don't even think they know how many people would be in a battalion.
Policing up trash.
Jesus Christ, could you imagine how much trash we could get cleaned up if we had the whole battalion?
We just walk 6 feet apart and in a line, with bags. We'd have it done in 15 minutes.
I mean, that's 90% of what Garrison Army does anyway.
But anyway,
the news.
Not surprised, but I am
the
surprised.
quote unquote news. Yeah.
That you caught a hard time.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to say that I'm not surprised, or that I am surprised, but I'm really not. Point is, though, is we went out and did it anyway. We picked up 4 contractor bags full of trash.
You pulled your flyers down?
Yeah, they pulled my flyers down, and they said that putting up flyers in the park is prohibited. But, like, they obviously pulled them down recently. They were still, like, visible in the trash.
You had to pick them up off the ground.
They didn't even bother. They didn't even fucking bother to, like, empty the trash cans when they went around to every hole, where every place there was a trash can, to tear down these flyers. They didn't even bother to empty the fucking trash cans.
Yeah. A lot of that has to do with that's fine, and that's bureaucratic stuff, and it's always ironic. But in my experience, the degree of hopelessness is a direct corollary to the amount of garbage in a city. If you just don't give a shit and you're just trying to you're on the get by every day, yeah, it isn't important to you. And if everybody else is doing it, more and more people do it too.
We have an update, some breaking news on the situation in Boulder, Colorado.
Oh, good. What's up, man?
The Boulder Police Department said multiple people have been killed, including a Boulder officer, in an active shooting situation.
At least 6 dead.
One suspect has been taken into custody. That person was injured in the incident and is being treated.
So was that the dude they walked out with a bloody leg?
That's what I would guess.
A victim. Okay.
I would guess, although I do not have all the information, I would guess that the man being brought out in handcuffs was one of the suspects. It is unclear to me at this time whether or not there is another suspect. It doesn't say. That is the only update I have for you as far as that goes. Thank you, Emily, for sharing that behind the scenes.
So they did this looks like it was just updated. They did a press conference at 6:50 p.m. They did not confirm how many people were killed or hurt.
Mm.
Yeah, that would be Mountain Daylight Time. So 1 hour before us, so that would have been 22 minutes ago.
Rob, cut back to you.
You're good, man. I think you're showing the right stuff.
I'm just playfully fucking with you, man.
Oh. Right, I'm not even looking at the screen. I'm trying to find on Twitter, trying to find something.
3 medevac helicopters were called in.
Damn.
It's still unclear whether or not that man is a suspect, Dean.
Got it. Yeah, I can't tell myself.
So basically, they held a press conference saying that the shelter in place was lifted. Yeah. They said as little as they possibly could.
That all that tells me is that they don't quite have all of the information yet.
They probably don't.
There's going to be a lot of argument on both sides about the Second Amendment after this.
Well, I mean, we've been seeing that for 10 years. It's definitely not new. So anyway, the words climate change are back on the EPA's website for the first time in over 4 years.
Yay. What fucking pack of jackasses. You know, thanks to the internet, right? Because they were scraped and captured and stored and available if needed. That data, that information, that science wasn't lost, but still, you know, what the fuck?
Climate change was, however, missing from the agenda of the meeting between the U.S. and China and Alaska. I mean, we're the 2 biggest countries with the fucking problem, but of course we are not ready to have that discussion yet. Hey Dean, you want to shoot Jakarta an email? He dropped his info. He dropped his info in the comments.
Oh yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Stepping away for 2 seconds, guys.
Roger that. I mean, it's the first time. It's the first time they've had any kind of sit down, right? And I don't know. I didn't look at.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the article, but I saw pictures from earlier today, and one of them dudes were masked. But I may be mistaken, and that might have been a picture from maybe, you know, when he was VP. I don't know. But I just saw it scroll by. Hopefully it was an old picture. But
Ron
that's got to
said,
be on the table.
Yeah. Ron said it's been more than 20 years we've been having the discussion about gun control. Columbine happened in '99.
You know, I'm more than willing to go in that direction. Obviously, you know that's something that's near and dear to all of our hearts. I just want to point out that if that dude was the shooter, he killed everybody that he encountered. He's the only victim that walked out.
Yeah.
So,
Um.
but back to China. You know, it hasn't even been 100 days. You know, I try to keep that in mind. Well, before I start losing my shit about the Biden administration digging into their own staff's backgrounds, whether or not they've ever used marijuana, for fuck's sake, and stuff that really pisses me off, I try to just chill and think it's not even 100 days. Just hold on.
Well, my issue there, though, is that the DNC is going to be like, oh, well, it hasn't been 100 days. And then they're going to be like, oh, we have to worry about the midterms. And then it's going to be, oh, we have to worry about fucking 2024.
Yeah, it won't be long, will it? Won't be long. And frankly, I'm tired of Democrats basically wanting everything to be handled for them so they don't have to do anything. I don't want to. Under Obama, I didn't have to worry. I didn't have to do anything. It was all taken care of for me. Yes, your economy, your wars, your lack of health care, your lack of support for LGBTQ community. I can continue.
I bet you can. Anyway, the point is that they talked about how to move forward because, as we all know, the talks that we were having under the Obama administration deteriorated very rapidly under the Trump administration.
They just stopped cold, guys. They just wasn't even a factor.
Yeah. So basically, Joanna Lewis, director of Science, Technology, and International Affairs program at Georgetown University, said to reassume climate leadership, the first thing the U.S. has to do is get our own house in order. We're not in a good position to ask China to do more on climate change if we have nothing on the books. Well, I mean, they're just as guilty in fucking this planet up as we are. So.
Yeah. Well, they are, but you know what? It's not like. And I don't know if this is for optics. Is this a situation like Germany where they say, "Oh, we are green energy, 99%," and really it's Turkmenistan that's generating their power and fucking up their own country, so Germany can say that they're green, or is it, you know, because I've heard, I don't know about you, but I have heard that, you know, these salted earth of toxic China isn't necessarily the case anymore. It's not, you know, it's not real transparent. Is my point, I guess. So what, you know, I'm taking my information third hand. I don't know. I'm not saying you can't trust what they're saying. I'm saying I don't know.
Jakarta said people need to learn from the past and not vote for Democrats or Republicans. I couldn't agree more.
You know, unless there's some evil thing that they want us to join them and vote against, right? It always seems to be somebody that's hateful. You know, that doesn't allow us to increase our share of 100 parties. If we, you know, that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see a dozen parties.
Same. All right, let's move into combating fascism. Everybody remember to punch a Nazi.
I was watching.
Anyway.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just... a judge denied a request to delay or move the Chauvin trial after the settlement announcement. No fucking shit. I don't even know what else to say to that. No fucking shit.
I watched that. You know, that had an effect on the juror panel. I watched it. You know, judge would sit people down. He would say, You're supposed to wear a mask. We've got plastic shields. You're got shields on your right, got shields on your left, you got shields in front of you. You can wear your mask. Just remember to speak up. And oh, by the way, did the settlement bother you? And only a couple of people. Some people stammered and stuttered, and then one lady said, "Yeah, it's fucking kind of bothers me. I don't know what to say here." And oh, you're excused.
Yeah,
Off she went.
yeah, and she wasn't the only one. They had dropped 2 jurors on the first day. After the settlement, that is.
Yeah. And people of Flint still can't drink their water. Because I had Flint people listening.
Yeah, indeed. So obviously the judge denied the request to move the trial. The judge was basically like, well, no matter where we move it to, it's still going to get a lot of attention. What are we doing? They already barricaded the entire fucking city.
Yeah, so prospective juror number 99. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love the cops?
If it's not a 10, you're
10 or 11?
The other combating fascism story that I have for today is also about the Chauvin trial. Surprise. A judge denied a bid to, a judge ruled that evidence from the 2019 arrest was admissible. And the 2019 arrest is not the one where he was killed. It's the one where he was caught with drugs.
Yeah, what's the deal on that? I don't remember that from the run-up to this, right?
What I get out of it is that they're trying to prejudice the jury against addicts.
Right, of course, right.
When he was arrested with drugs in 2019, he tried to eat them to avoid arrest. That's what it comes down to. He was willing to put his life at risk before to avoid an arrest. Why wouldn't he do that again?
Correct. Well, yeah. Here, look. I think who among us? That's all I can say. Who among us? Not only A wouldn't do the same thing, but B hasn't been faced with similar circumstances. Probably.
Yeah. Natalie said the duopoly is pretty much one party. Neither are actually for the people. Corruption and too much power for too long. Well said. That's
This is what happens when you hire, and I didn't say elect. I said hire administrators for the functions of the market. Period. We're getting exactly what we're praying for, and nothing's going to change while that market continues. Labor could change it. People could change it, but they will not, cannot. I don't know.
Right.
Now, back to Floyd. I don't know, guys. For you, Rob, and anyone else hearing me, I guess I was unprepared. How or why that became the linchpin of our times. I mean, his life and the ending of his life changed our reality forever.
Yeah. Jakarta said they probably saw that to be a reason to be dismissed, so the fam effed it, I think, gives the courts the option. Or am I wrong? Well, I mean, I don't think that the court should be just simply dismissing anybody that they don't agree with. Or anybody that... I mean, they were dismissing anybody who said that they agreed with the premise behind Black Lives Matter. And the premise behind Black Lives Matter is that Black Lives Matter.
That was my takeaway. That if they demonstrated any question of authority or felt that the BLM or any of the present day ideologies that are emerging or valid, they got walked.
And as I said, they seem to they're willing to put in evidence from a completely unrelated arrest to try to sway the argument against addicts, and that's not fucking cool, guys. They want to give the court a reason to allow the cop to get off, is what Jakata said. And yeah, that's right. That's exactly. Why else would they barricade the entire fucking city?
No, I see. I don't think so. I think they'll let that dude burn to the ground. They don't give a shit. They only care about their own liability. Right now, at this point, if they can get something to stick, great. If not, they're trying to keep us from showing back up there again, especially a whole lot of people of color and fucking up their vibe. That's all they care about. They've written a $27 million check. They feel like they should be done with it. But oh shit, we've got to. All right, fine. We've got to see whether this guy did anything wrong or not. And they know, and you know, and I know, if he's acquitted, there will be hell to pay, and people are just bracing themselves for that. So I suspect that they will mete out some meager and weak justice.
I would tend to agree. I was really hoping Trish would be back by now. I wanted to get her input on StreamYard too. So, in terms of the streaming thing, I really like that we can put our logo up there and that we can have tickers.
Oh, I love that. That's dope
banners.
as fuck. I really love that. I love the scroller.
Jakata said, "I see another OJ, but a cop instead." And see, that's what I'm thinking too. But I love that we can put the comments up there. I love that we can have the ticker and the banners. I'm kind of disappointed about the backgrounds, though. To have a background, you have to have a green screen. And
Yes, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. And also, as a participant, I can't tell who's in the room.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I mean, we can experiment with it more. I think we should experiment with the editing dashboard on Restream. Since we have both of them for this month anyway, we should test out both of them.
Okay, that's cool with me. I don't think this is a problem at all.
Indeed.
I don't know, on your end, are you hearing any audio crackling?
No, you were like your mic was having some sort of like bassy thing going on earlier, but I think you were moving it.
I was, and
welcome back, Don.
Yeah, hey Don.
Good evening.
And and that's my normal speaking voice, right? It's not it's low. Natalie, real quick, if you could drop in the comments by the time this gets to you, overall impressions of audio quality and video quality. Just curious.
Fair. Natalie said,
and do you hear the crackling? And if I go on mute, will it stop?
James said that he hears the crackling, but I mean that was before you muted, and I don't.
And I'm back off mute.
Right. Every time that you move it, I hear it like
Oh yeah, it's bad. Yeah, I know. I try to mute it before I do touch it.
Yeah, it's easier said than done. I don't think I have any issues like that with mine. I just leave it on the stand and let it do its thing. Natalie said that Emily said the crackling is there with Dean muted, and that it might be me. Interesting. Natalie said there's some static in the stream. Jakata said no. And then he said possible feedback. Huh.
Yeah, I don't know. Out of curiosity, Do you have a pair of wired headphones you could try out besides the one you're wearing?
No, but I mean, only the sound is coming through. There's no microphone in these. I have a microphone.
Oh yeah, I know, but I mean, it might. That's a good point. It wouldn't be your headphones. Something weird.
The only thing that it could be me actually. I have well, no, my mic is still hooked up the same way. I have some other stuff hooked up through a USB hub that wasn't before, but my mic is not one of those things.
Do you have audio controls for Don?
No.
Can you mute him? Can you mute me?
I can kick him. Oh, I can mute. Yeah, I can mute.
Mute
and
us
unmute.
both. Mute us both.
Don, it says your mic isn't connected. There, is there still crackling or whatever? Wait, are you guys sure that the crackling that you're hearing isn't the music? It's lo-fi. There's like, it's, like crackling.
No, it's not that. It's static. It's like a wire. It's electrical discharge snapping, crackling.
Actually, I do hear it. Huh. Anyway, point is, I guess we should probably get back to the stream.
Yeah, I know that when we are increasing our audio only listeners. And just as a reminder to those audio only listeners, this is a live stream podcast that has video and sharing. So we will refer to things that may or may not be on the screen. You may or may not see. You can always follow along if you're listening in your audio on the YouTube channel or on Facebook, and you can watch the archives. And if there's an image, you're geez, wow, I really want to see that, you can see it as well. Live streams, you can see the show notes that we're actually working with. So if there's something in there that you might really was in your mind and you wanted to read or see or expand on or research further for your own benefit and edification and education, you can do that at the forwearemany.org website, and you will find the most up-to-date show notes and live streams there, including this one.
This is true. This is true. So, Jakarta said I would like to put your stuff on my channel also. That'd be cool.
Fantastic. Yeah, that would be awesome.
I'm sure you probably have a larger YouTube following than we do.
Oh, yeah, for real much. We're
working on it, man.
Yep, we are slowly climbing that mountain. And
so
you can go ahead, Rob.
I was just going to take us into the next segment. I'm going a little bit out of...
Great. The well-armed proletariat really leads us into a guns conversation and rights conversation, and I hope and I will not make anybody angry tonight, I promise. But you can further our cause by subscribing. If you're on the YouTube, you're watching us, subscribe. If you're on our Facebook page, you're watching our stream, do like. Thank you.
Indeed. Okay, so basically, I have for this week's working class firearm of the week, I have, the one that I'm gonna plug ultimately is the Smith & Wesson Model 642. It's a 38 special. It's a revolver. It's about $400. So it's. Well, actually, this says $477. But the point is I wanted to recommend a 38 special revolver. They're super reliable. They're very simple. And they're kind of expensive, but the ammunition is not that expensive. It's about
What's the
6
difference
inches.
between that and like a? Is it a medium or small frame? What's the difference between that and say like a 4.42 or a smaller? Is that a smaller weapon?
Well, a 440 is a bigger round.
No, the Smith & Wesson Model 4.42 38 special.
Oh, it was 6.42.
Correct.
I don't
Right. What's the difference between the
what
6.42 and let me look?
between-
Like the same frame.
I mean, I believe 642 is just the model number of their 30 special.
Right. They have several 38 specials. It's apparently on the same strain. This is their midline product. Apparently, the 6.42. Likely stainless.
Yeah, looks like it.
likely not a lot of poly in it, except maybe some grips. And I think and then if you went for, that's probably about, what did you say, about $500?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a lifetime gun. That's an
Well,
inheritable
yeah,
weapon.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I just quickly built one on the Smith & Wesson website. You have to have it sent to a dealer, obviously. They're not going to ship it to your house.
Mm-hmm.
$497, and that's a lifetime gun. The only fucking plastic on that thing is the handle, like the grip of the handle.
Yeah, right, right.
And that's with a safety. Without a safety, might be a little cheaper. No, but yeah,
it's a very manageable, it's a very carryable weapon. It's a very purseable weapon. It's a very pocketable weapon, from what I can see.
Yes, and that's the whole idea, is that it's small, it's easy to carry, it's affordable. I mean, when I say affordable, I know $500 sounds like a lot to drop on a weapon, but as you said, that's a lifetime weapon.
It's a lifetime weapon. Yeah,
that's a weapon you could hand to your kids or your grandkids even.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what I was suggesting. Like, if that was outside of your range, but the efficacy and frame and the form factor was a good. There is a slightly cheaper options. If you go down a couple of model versions, you get the same gun. Maybe it's carbon instead of stainless, or maybe it has a little bit more poly involved. But my 2 cents on this is the same as it is with laptop computers. When it comes to carryable weapons, buy as much as you can afford at that time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the premise is you're not hunting with it. Well, you could be. It might be a backup hunting weapon, right? The premise of the weapon like this, especially someone that's so concealable, is that this is a personal defense. This is a doomsday scenario weapon. This is something you want to be able to produce, and it is to function flawlessly. The cheaper you go, the greater the flawlessness risk rises. In my personal opinion, Don, your results may vary.
Don, you got anything to say about the Smith & Wesson 38 special?
I mean, it's a revolver. Him and I have only seen these fuckers in pictures. You're on mute, buddy.
Don, you're muted.
You're muted.
Son of bitch. Son
You're
of
good.
bitch.
Start over, brother.
Okay. I personally have never been a big fan of pistols. My only experience with a pistol is the Glock M9, and I hate it. I fucking hate it. So anything that's not an M9 is good in my book.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah.
Indeed. I decided to keep trying to do American firearms, like Last week we did an American AK instead of Russian AK. So I mean, Smith and Wesson. I mean, you always know what you're getting when you're buying a gun from Smith and Wesson. It's always going to be reliable. Might be a little bit overpriced, but it's always going to be reliable. That's my 2 cents.
I'm always going to suggest a rifle. A rifle. Like the
I mean, that's fair. I personally am a rifle guy as well. But I know a lot of people want these types of weapons.
Yeah,
for
they're
self-defense.
compact. They're compact. They're good for self-defense. You can put them in a purse, in your pocket. Don't put them in your pocket. Please don't put them in your pocket. Put them in a holster.
Get a holster. Be a responsible.
Be a
gun
responsible
owner,
gun owner, please. And trigger discipline, people. Don't put your finger on the thing. Don't put it off unless you're about to shoot.
Natalie said, I think guns should always have a safety. Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I personally would not buy a gun without a safety.
Absolutely.
And make that known. If you're at a gun store, make that known that you want a fucking firearm with a safety. Leanne asked, what about the Glock 27?
I have no experience with it.
I have no experience with it either. Let's see what Glock.com is going to tell us about the Glock 27. It's a 40 caliber, looks like. Yeah, it's a 40 caliber Smith & Wesson round. Holds 9. Has a safety. 750 rounds with a loaded magazine. I mean, actually, this looks like the Glock 27. I might have a very small amount of experience with this gun now that I see it. It was not mine, obviously. But if it's the gun that I think it is, it's fairly reliable. But I don't know. I'll look more into it and get back to you on that, Leanne.
I'm a huge fan of 40 cals as a rule for stopping power. It's a great compromise between lightweightness, manageability, but God dang it, rare ammo and expensive in my, and that may be just my experience with it, but the ammo's rare and expensive. That being said, I don't own a gun. I won't likely ever own a gun, and it does not mean that I wish to prevent you from obtaining and owning and operating your own firearms.
Leanne said that the Glock 27 is a subcompact, tiny, easy to conceal. So, from the sounds of it, you would want that for the exact same reasons as the Smith & Wesson we were just talking about. I actually don't know why
and it's got a bigger magazine.
Yeah, I think it has a higher capacity, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it holds 9 rounds.
9 rounds instead of 6. Instead of 6, yes.
And I believe it's 9 plus 1 in the chamber. So
it probably is 9 plus 1, yes. I mean, that being said, though, if you're getting attacked at close range, you are never going to need 10 rounds. Let me rephrase. If you are trained with the weapon that you're trying to use in a close range scenario, you will never, ever, ever need 10 rounds. That's all. Please get trained. If you get a fucking firearm, please go to the range, pay somebody to train you. It's worth it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I almost forgot, but I am going to drop the link. Good. Well, yeah, semi-auto versus revolver is what Leanne said. And the reason that I went with a revolver is exactly what James said in the comments. Yeah, but 38 special don't jam. Amen to that.
That is correct, and that is correct, right? I have to concur with that. I have to agree completely. You can also operate it one-handed, although Don, I realize you can operate any semi-auto one-handed. I know I may be anticipating what you're about to say, but a revolver is literally a one-handed machine. And I will say this: you may not need 9 or 10 rounds. But if you're in an emergency situation, the likelihood of you using all 9 of them or 10 of them is exceedingly high.
I'm getting a lot of echo. Is anyone else getting that?
I am not. So I put the link in the comments on all 3 streams for the Model 642 from Smith & Wesson, and that will conclude our well-armed proletariat segment for today. But before we end it, I guess, I wanted to say, look into your local John Brown Gun Club or Socialist Rifle Association. It's not just, you don't have to go to the range and deal with a bunch of right-wing crazy people. You can go to the range with some like-minded people who would still be more than happy to help you learn how to use the weapon that you may or may not already know how to use.
Oh yeah, I think that's probably a common experience, right? I haven't been on a range in many years, but I'm sure that no graybeard has offered to help me and reach around behind me and help me hold my weapon while he stands behind me.
Yeah.
I've considered at times getting a couple of my buddies.
What?
Oh, hey, okay. So, no, what I was saying was, I've considered at times getting a couple of my army buddies together and opening up a, I don't even know what we would call it, a tactical shooting school, a basic marksmanship school, something like that. I mean, we were all infantry, and you have to score expert when you qualify. There's no other option. So we're all really good shots, and it would be kind of cool to pass down that knowledge.
Indeed.
I just don't know how I'd go about doing it, honestly.
So Natalie said, I believe there are some socialist gun clubs in some areas. That's exactly what I was talking about. There's the Socialist Rifle Association. There's the John Brown Gun Club. Those are just 2. I'm sure that they are not.
And if there isn't one, start one.
Exactly.
Again, I'm not necessarily a gun enthusiast, but I cannot dispute what Rob says repeatedly about leftists carrying firearms. Right. So please say that, Rob.
They are armed. We should be armed too.
Thank you.
That's it. So Natalie said definitely not in mine though, but that's what we're saying. Get a couple of like-minded people together and go to the range. That's how it starts. There are resources actually on the Socialist Rifle Association website. Let me make sure I got it right before I copy it into the. Yes, it is. Okay. I'm going to be dropping that in the comments. It's socialistra.org for anybody who is wondering. And Leanne said, any gun retailer or salesman will be more than happy to show you anything you need or want to know about the firearm you're purchasing. This is definitely true, honestly. Just completely ignore their comments about politics. Completely ignore whatever abrasive or unnecessary thing that they're trying to, push on you. But They do know a lot about guns, and they would be more than happy to show you anything you want to know about the firearm you're looking at. I mean, for that matter, remember, they are always trying to sell. So they want to make that sale. They're gonna show you around your gun.
That's an excellent point. And they probably won't reach around you and want to help you hold your weapon from behind.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, man, if you're hearing me, gentlemen, if you're doing that, stop it.
Stop it.
It's not cool.
Don, what do you got for military news today?
I read it during the Power of a Strike section. Sorry about that. Kind of unprepared. I do have something for the good news portion though, if we're still keeping it.
Indeed. Do you got any science or anthropology news?
Negative. Anthropology is a lot. It takes a while, unless there's a major discovery of like a lost Mayan city in the Amazon, which happens quite often. Actually, you would be surprised how easy it is for the jungle to hide structures, especially large structures. They just look like mountains.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean,
all right.
So they're arguing about discoveries that they're still arguing and refusing to draw conclusions about discoveries that have been made up to 30 years ago. It is a closed community. They are not collaborative. They don't share information. It is, it's ugly business.
Yeah, and the guys that are in charge are the guys that wrote the textbooks, and they don't. If they change things, then their ego gets hurt.
Correct. That has been the case since I became a amateur cultural anthropologist 30 years ago.
Same with archaeology, and everything's so weird with archaeology too, because it's a science, but it's not really a science. It's more of a philosophy. I enjoy it though.
So do I. I enjoy it very much myself. Pardon me. I enjoy it very much myself.
Indeed. So we are moving on now to wealth inequality. I think it probably goes without saying that it affects our lives every day. So I brought up give me just a second here. I'm having difficulties. Not like, difficult difficulties, but like pissing me off difficulties. I thought that was funny.
The struggle is peeled.
Austin said an asteroid passed by Earth last night that was as big as the Golden Gate Bridge.
That's fantastic. Fantastic.
It's so large. How large? So large.
Your mom so.
So, this is a statistics website, and James said, "Good thing it didn't hit us." Is it? Is it?
Yes.
No, I'm sorry. All right, so I'm dropping another link in the comments.
We'll do anything to combat fascism, ladies and gentlemen.
Anything you say. Anyway, so wage inequality. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I have this article that I can pull up. There we go. Okay, so basically this site. Did I drop that link in the comments? Yes, I did. Okay, so basically this site, it's put on by Statista Research Department. I'm not really sure who they are. We're gonna have to look into them. But so the female to male earnings ratio in 1990 was 71.6%. In 2010, this rate was at 81.6%. Now today, it's at 82.3%. The worst in the nation was in Provo-Orem, Utah. The worst U.S. city for gender wage equality, 63.5%. The worst state was Wyoming, 65.06%. There's a whole bunch of statistics in this site. You guys can go explore it more if you want. The point is, I just wanted to throw that in there to talk about the intersectionality between class and gender, I guess.
By the way, I've had some experience with Statista. Think of it as a platform for data and visualization. They typically, if they compile the data, it's to showcase their data analytics platform. If you encounter it, it may be that an independent research or a university or a governmental agency or news organization is using its platform to represent data. So I think Statista is safe and mostly neutral.
Mostly neutral.
Well, the reason I say mostly is because they have a product to sell, so they're going to showcase their abilities. That's why I say mostly.
That's fair. That's fair. That was all I had for wealth and equality today. Oh, why am I yawning?
All of us are big Golden Gate sized asteroid yawns.
It was pretty close. It was 5 times the Earth to the moon away. On a cosmic scale, that's like this far.
On a cosmic scale, it's a hair.
Yeah.
Gosh. I knew about that, and I also saw that makes sense. That's why you can never figure out why people are talking about certain things, and then you guys, thank you, Austin. You guys tell me why in the hell we're talking about it. Oh, here's why it's in the news.
So now we're going to go into science and anthropology. We already discussed we don't have anything for anthropology for today. But that being said, Trisha, even though she is not with us tonight, did put a thing for us in the document. So we're going to check that out. I'm waiting for it to load, if you're wondering why I'm like, not really saying anything. Anyway. I like that I can do that I can screen share and have my face, and it's not like, just a tiny little corner. Oh,
I like it too. I don't know.
With the control of all-wheel drive.
Whoa.
Oh.
And the power 2.5.
Oh,
was an
that
ad.
hot
was so
2.5 liter engine.
Turbocharged 2.5 liter engine.
4-wheel drive.
Does anybody actually want to drive a Kia Sorento?
Fuck no.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe. Maybe. I've never seen one. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, if I won one on the fucking Wheel of Fortune or something, I suppose I would sell it.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm sure it's a lovely car. Kia, if you've ever considered us for advertising opportunities, you can just go pound sand up your ass. No, No, it's 100%.
I love you,
fine.
Dean.
Yeah.
You're great. Anyway, so China and Russia are going to build a space station together on the moon. If that ain't dope, that's
Wait, what?
pretty dope.
They're gonna do what?
China and Russia are going to build a space station on the moon together.
Why the fuck would we have a space station on the moon? Why?
Wouldn't it be a
let
moon
them
station,
bankrupt
not
themselves.
a space station?
Let them bankrupt
First of
themselves
all.
doing that.
Guys.
And we're going to bankrupt Elon Musk going to Mars. What's your point?
Guys, it's the Cold War all over again. They're talking about building a space station on the moon, so we try to compete with them and spend our budget on some bullshit. Oh, so you zoom in on me because I have an opinion. Okay.
No, you're just way better looking than we are.
I mean, that's true. Have you seen my jawline?
Look at it. It's perfect. Ladies and
Chiseled.
gentlemen, if you have not been made aware that we have a Patreon, you can look at this quality content. I mean, quality with a K. Quality content.
Oh man.
Wow.
We got to get all these laughs out because when I start actually recording the Patreon exclusive content, which is coming, ladies and gentlemen, and Elon Musk, the Patreon exclusive content's coming, and you know you want to see more of this, don't you, Elon? $100,000, bud. I know my price.
So Leanne said, I want a truck that makes it look like I have the world's smallest dick. But I think that all of the people who have the world's smallest dick drive up and down my road. So I'm sorry, Leanne. You do not have the world's smallest dick. Random men in Arizona do.
That is a matter of opinion. We have not gathered any information about penis size in correlation with truck size.
Do we really have to do a study on this, Don?
The opinions stated by my co-host are not necessarily the opinions of everyone else.
Yeah.
They are.
Well, I think Trisha. That means Trish is the biggest dick swinger of all of us because she's got a huge fucking vehicle. It's so fucking big.
Man, I can't
park
wait
it in a parking spot.
I have no idea how she's going to park it at Mom's house.
Right on. Really? I thought you guys, in my imagination, you guys are on a bunch of property.
No, 1.5 acres maybe.
Oh, her vehicle is definitely bigger than 1.5 acres. It's at least 2 acres. You can see it from space. If you go to Google Earth, you just have to kind of get Michigan roughly in the screen, and you'll see Trisha's RV.
I mean, so you know that she is getting a new one as we speak, right? Like that's why she's not here.
That's the one.
And it's 4 feet longer. It's 4 feet longer.
I know. That's awesome.
I think while she's up here, I'm gonna rattle can it matte black and then put a big red fist on it.
Oh, cool. And a gun turret. And so folks know, Trisha is a full-time RV dweller. So that's kind of cool.
Listen,
that's
it's a 32-foot long RV. I think I can fit more than one gun turret.
She is the biggest, dickest heavy hitter in the stream.
She really is. She's so much more aggressive than any of us.
This is true. Anyway, so the point is, though, long story short, in scientific news, China and Russia are going to go to the moon holding and they didn't invite America to play.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's ridiculous. And I'd be surprised if they do it at all. That's ridiculous. What are they going to... I don't know, I'm sorry. Just... No. Fail. What are you gonna? Honestly, they're
nukes. Okay, we're gonna put nukes on it. Oil, Dean.
If that's the point, fine. I could see it. But
actually, something that just struck me: the moon. Speaking of struck, the moon gets hit by meteors often, and has been hit by meteors often. So, those meteors had to go somewhere into the moon, correct? Those meteors
not just
have rare
meteors.
rare
Not
earth
just
minerals.
meteors. They're completely exposed to solar radiation. Can you imagine
Oh,
the
yeah.
time
Yeah,
and
they're
the
gonna try.
cost, the expense to maintain a permanent dwelling on the moon, and for what reason? Honestly,
The only thing I can think of is mining rare earth minerals, and the payout probably would not outweigh the costs, man. Like,
I'm sorry. I fail. While people are starving, all I can think of is Gil Scott Heron, his poem of Whitey's on the Moon, right? 1969 or 68. He read that poem and Whitey's on the Moon, and I'm more than happy sometime to hopefully read it, because I wouldn't want to play the video of it because he does such a beautiful job. But I'm certainly will get a copyright strike for it. But that's bothered me that we've got children starving. We have people who don't have health care. We have people who are in abject poverty, and we're gonna live on the fucking moon. Really? I don't give a fuck if it's Russia, China, or Vanuatu. When we're not taking care of our own people here on this planet, we do not have the right to occupy or explore other planets. When we've solved all the world's problems, we can go have our fun, geeky, fucking science fair bullshit. But to do what we've already done 52 years ago I'm just not impressed. I'm not interested.
I'll agree. Natalie said, "Good for Trish. Hope it works out good." Us too. That the last one she's had more issues with than it's worth, honestly.
So is Biden dismantling the Space Force, or are we going to have a bunch of fucking...
No, man. He supports the Space Force. What do you think this is?
Okay, well then.
They're called Guardians. Okay.
Oh.
Guardians.
Well, unless I see a raccoon piloting a ship, I'm not interested.
James says, "Why take over space when we shit on Earth?" That's because the rich realize that they're shitting on our planet, and they're going to leave us here to die while they run away to the moon and to Mars.
I don't know what to say, guys. It just kind of makes me ill. I'm not interested. I'm not interested, and I'm not. You know.
You mean you don't want to take out a fucking loan from Elon Musk to move to Mars on a whim, and then work for him to pay off that debt?
While his brother charges me for the power and the energy consumption I'll need to also further consume more Tesla goods and services, sure. That sounds great. It literally sounds like a fucking Schwarzenegger movie plot.
Yeah.
And I'm not anti-science, you guys. You know, I honestly, I have a heavy science background. I have a lot of science, frankly, hard science in my everyday work. I'm fundamentally opposed to these super scalar, multiples of billion-dollar expenditures on what amounts to ego projects. I hate it. I just hate it. And unless it's bringing I realize that science, space exploration, these drive the economy, and they help industries, and they eventually help people, but they usually don't help the people who need help. They help the people who especially do not need help.
I would tend to agree with that.
So I'll get off my soapbox and let you continue. Apologies.
Well, I'm going to get on Trish's soapbox. Uh-oh. I feel like I'm not going to do this justice, you know? Actually, now that I see what she's got, I think we'll be all right.
Yeah,
we'll be all right.
We'll be fine.
U.S. Representative Tom Reed has been accused of sexual misconduct. Can I just, rather than reading the article or anything like that, can I just frankly say that any of
Just
these
freestyle,
people,
brother.
any of these people that fucking get called out for this shit should probably just be, like investigated. And if they're guilty, fucking give them the boot. Be done with it. Fuck this shit.
I couldn't agree more. Honestly, I couldn't agree more.
And of course, he was going to challenge Cuomo for New York governor. Is it going to be another rapist versus rapist situation like the presidential election? The world may never know.
I'm sorry, but if you put men in front of a camera who are vying for a public office, the odds that they have mishandled or mistreated or are guilty of some misconduct, sexual otherwise, are exceedingly high. I honestly, I think we should frankly root these people out ruthlessly and flush them from our midst. I have no qualms about that. I think it's a travesty that we would endure a minute of this behavior from paid public officials. We're not paying them to behave in this manner. They're there to carry out the mundane tasks that you and I, as working people, people with families and responsibilities, don't have time for. They, if nothing more, they should be guilty of mishandling public funds or misappropriation or some sort of betrayal of the public trust. It's infuriating. Not that I don't have opinions once you put me in a corner.
Indeed. Man, that's so fancy right there.
That's badass, though, isn't it?
That's badass.
We almost, our cripes, think we're gonna, we'll take over. We'll take a spot on OWN on the Oprah network.
Oh God. So, Nicolette Davis, who now serves in the U.S. military, told, I believe the newspaper was Reuters, told the newspaper that in 2017, Reed inappropriately placed his hand on her during a networking trip in Minneapolis. The newspaper at the time quoted Davis texting a coworker, "A drunk congressman is rubbing my back. Help, help."
Well, that sounds great. What the fuck? Sorry.
I mean, it's
really. What are they,
And
12?
Reed said, "This account of my actions is not accurate."
No. I'm sorry, Reed. Do continue. Explain that. Explain why you would have to touch another person in a professional environment. How is that cool?
That is a really good question. Jakata asked if the Green Party is going to have a candidate for governor of New York. I'm not going to put money on it, but I'm willing to bet that it's going to be Howie Hawkins or somebody close to him. He has kept their ballot line active in New York State for, well, I mean, he got their ballot line back with his gubernatorial campaigns. So I think that there's a high possibility that even if he runs again in 2024 for president, I think there's a pretty high possibility that he will run for Green Party for governor of New York. Which it's important to remember, because you said, or perhaps socialist. It's important to remember that he is also a socialist. Anyway, so yeah, I guess that's women's rights for today. We have LGBTQ news. I was trying to keep these towards the end so that way, she could get back and tell these stories the way that she was going to. But, shit happens. The Green Party has lost balloting in New York. Okay, so there was a law. Hold on, let me get rid of this thing. There was a law that went in place that could, in the future, cost them their ballot access, but they have ballot access. They changed the rules moving forward, where they need 5 times the turnout or 5 times the amount of signatures. So, unless 2022 is a very successful gubernatorial run, there is a significant chance that the Green Party will lose their ballot access in New York. However, they haven't yet.
They have not yet. I agree.
But it is a distinct possibility, and that's why we need our comrades in New York State to do their part. Anyway, so Trisha has a picture with this article, so I'm just going to go ahead and Lena Bloom will be the first trans woman of color ever represented in Sports Illustrated magazine, or at least on the swimsuit issue. She told the New York Times, "My autonomy and my anatomy are beautiful. I want people to see that and to see that you can be respected, appreciated, and loved regardless of your body shape, sexuality, or the color of your skin. I'm promoting something that has been missing in the world. Trans beauty in all shapes and all sizes. I'm representing Filipina. I'm representing Black. I'm representing people who have been immigrants. For them, I'm a vessel of change." This photo came from her Instagram, with the caption, "This is what it looks like to be in full bloom." When asked what she thinks about criticism of the swimsuit issue for sexism, Bloom said, "This is a way of reaching the top of the food chain. Let's at least have this moment and say that we had it, and then we can go on to dismantle it." Anybody got anything to say to that? About that?
I'll be the one to say it, and I know I'm probably going to catch hell for it, but she looks beautiful in that picture.
I don't feel empowered to comment. I'm not a woman. I'm not a transgender person. I don't comprehend issues that women and people of gender. I don't understand the whole gender issues yet. That is not to say that I'm ignorant of these issues. I'm not. That is not to say that I don't understand them. I do understand the tenets, but it's not my lived experience. That's the point, I guess, that I should be very crystal and clear about. I don't have to understand. It's their experience. It's their individual choice. And that's really all that matters to me is, that's my only feedback. She's comfortable. She's happy. She feels successful. I'm happy. Hooray.
Well said.
But it is none of my business what's going on with her chromosomes. That's between her and her doctor and her medical files, and how she presents is her choice, and how I accept it is mine.
Indeed.
Absolutely. And realistically, my only feedback is that the photographer did a great job. She looks amazing in those photos.
Yeah,
really,
I'll totally agree with that.
Really, yep. That having been said, it's hard for me because I'm not a woman, so I don't understand if it's objectification or not. Right? Is it not because it's a trans person? I mean,
it depends on.
It seems more like look here, don't look here.
From my understanding, it really just depends on the person and how they view it. If that individual, if that being views this as empowering, then it is empowering for them.
Sure, right. And I'm not speaking to the ones that look on and get boners, and they're pissed because they got a boner over something they don't want to get boners about, right? I don't know. That fuck it. Let's push that. Let's push the envelope hard. I'm all for that. I'm not a nihilist. I'm somewhat of a nihilist with anarchistic tendencies. So, absolutely. Disrupt the man and his dirty dollar. Use your tits if you have to. I don't have any, but I'll happily use mine if you want me to.
Shout out to the Antifa super sluts.
Super sluts, correct.
Yeah, trademarked. AntifaSupersluts.org.
Hey man, have you guys been having a hard time cashing your Soros checks?
Yes, fuck yes. What's up with that? The liquor store won't take them. Motherfuckers.
Man, mine hasn't even come in the mail yet.
Wow, dude. Man, if he wants us to keep burning down cities or whatever.
Yeah, man. This will not stand much longer.
Elon, we're looking for new employment.
As you can see, I've taken away my background, so that's a Soros problem.
Yeah, I no longer have the tactical black and white, and I feel cheated.
Brandy said, "Tits out for Antifa."
What a wonderful family we are. Thank you. I'm serious.
So, pharmacist.
Honestly, this is beautiful. I love this. This is the highlight of my week, guys.
Same. A Brooklyn pharmacist had spare vaccines, so she went to an LGBTQ senior center and gave them out for free. I don't really understand how you end up with.
That's it. We got to arrest her immediately. Use the pepper spray bullets.
Over 50 vulnerable elders at Stonewall House, which is an affordable housing complex, got their first shots. So that basically the law surrounding eligibility is why they went to an LGBTQ senior center. So far, he says he's administered over 2,000 doses.
Yeah,
Wow.
right. Which kind of, right? How does a single pharmacist, small town pharmacy? I think he's a not home based. I'm sorry, that's not the word. Hometown type of pharmacy, not a chain. How do you get 2,000 doses? There is a surplus of vaccine. So if you're not seeing them in your region or your area, go where they are, find them. Will not turn you away. If you see a sign at a center that says vaccines today, just show up. Make them turn you away.
I would never turn you away, Dean.
Thank you.
Well, we didn't do our homework in the book club. And that's pretty much what we have left at this point.
Our required reading conversation?
I mean, I guess we could just read it together right now.
I like that idea. Let's do.
Okay. Well, damn it. That means I have to go back into Drive and I have to get out the thing.
Actually, no, you don't. Or drop a link in the conversation in StreamYard privately, and you can pick a chapter and go.
James asked if. Hold on, let me. I forgot I can put that on the stream now. James asked if anybody has gotten the Johnson & Johnson vaccine yet.
2 people in my family have.
I was supposed to get my vaccine this morning. It's going to end up, I slept through it. I had such a long weekend. I worked 30 hours in 3 days.
You won't miss it. It happens.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. But it'll be probably next week by the looks of things.
Brandy asked what
The
the book was.
The book is the Little Red Book. It's what most people call it. It's the official title is quotations from Chairman Mao. I don't know why I showed that. The link is in the comments. Actually, I'm going to put the link in all of the streams rather than just Facebook.
Okay, yeah, awesome. Thank you.
All right. Sorry about the
Nice.
delay here. We were a little unprepared for this section, guys. Oh, yeah, and we're not in LGBTQ news anymore either, are we?
No, we have we covered that last topic. We also covered military news.
There we go. Now I made a new one. There we go. Okay, so chapter 3 is titled Socialism and Communism. Communism is at once a complete system of proletarian ideology and a new social system. It is different from any other ideological and social system, and it is the most complete, progressive, revolutionary, and rational system in human history. The ideological and social system of feudalism has a place only in the Museum of History. The ideological and social system of capitalism has also become a museum piece in one part of the world, in the Soviet Union, while the other countries it resembles a dying person who is sinking fast like the sun setting beyond the western hills, and soon will be relegated to the museum. The communist ideological and social system alone is full of youth and vitality, sweeping the world with the momentum of an avalanche and the force of a thunderbolt. Thing is I think that they did not anticipate how adaptable capitalism actually is. I think that they thought that, the global revolution was happening between 1917 and 1940.
Correct. I was going to say, what the fuck was an MBA in 1917? Nothing. Now we have 100,000 new ones a year.
Yep. We sure do. So the socialist system will eventually replace the capitalist system. This is an objective law independent of man's will. However much the reactionaries try to hold back the wheel of history, eventually revolution will take place and will inevitably triumph. We communists never conceal our political views. Actually, I make jokes about this, you guys. Like, seriously, think about this. So, like, a fascist will always be like, I'm not a fascist. And half the time, a liberal is going to be like, I'm not a liberal. But a communist or a socialist is almost always going to be like, I am a communist or I am a socialist. So take that and do with it what you will. Anyway, definitely and beyond all doubt, our future or maximum program is to carry China forward to socialism and communism. Both the name of our party and our Marxist world outlook unequivocally point to the supreme ideal of the future, a future of incomparable brightness and splendor. So, does it sound a little idealistic? Yeah. Is it that simple? Of fucking course not. They're trying to inspire people. That being said, I wanted to point out, since they're talking about the Marxist world outlook, that Marxism is a lens more than it is anything. It's not like every Marxist agrees on how to deal with every situation. That's not how it works. It's kind of a science. Anyway, taken as a whole, the Chinese revolutionary movement led by the Communist Party embraces the two stages, i.e. the democratic and the socialist revolutions, which are two essentially different revolutionary processes and the second process can be carried through only after the first has been completed. The democratic revolution is a necessary preparation for the socialist revolution, and the socialist revolution is the inevitable sequel to the democratic revolution. The ultimate aim, for which all communists strive, is to bring about a socialist and communist society. Socialist revolution aims at liberating the productive forces. When they say the productive forces, they mean you, and me, and Dean, and Don, and Sterling. If you
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
This computer's doing weird shit right now.
yep,
Did we lose Rob?
just
Oh.
momentarily.
Okay. I was confused. I didn't know if it was
Industrial
me
and
or...
Okay.
agricultural production.
I hear him again. You're back.
Yeah, you just started talking in the middle of a sentence.
No, you froze, my dude.
Yeah.
Huh,
Yeah.
indeed.
Trish, are you on?
No. I would have to add her to the stream anyway. It would show her in the bottom bar.
Yeah, we don't see that, Rob. Or I don't anyway.
Indeed. Anyway, we are now carrying out a revolution. And when I say now, this speech was in 1955. The Chinese Revolution was in 1949. So in 1949, they had their democratic revolution so that in 1955, roughly, they could have their socialist revolution. So when they say we are now carrying out a revolution in the social system, that's what they're talking about. The socialist revolution, the actual transition from private to public ownership. But also in technology, the change from handicraft to large-scale modern machine production, and the two revolutions are interconnected. And agriculture, with conditions as they are in our country, cooperation must precede the use of big machinery. In capitalist countries, agriculture develops in a capitalist way. Imagine that. Therefore, we must on no account regard industry and agriculture, socialist industrialization, and the socialist transformation of agriculture as two separate and isolated things, and on no account must we emphasize the one and play down the other. This quote's from 1957 at the Communist Party's National Conference and Propaganda Work. The new social system has just been established and requires time for its consolidation. It must not be assumed that the new system can be completely consolidated the moment it is established, for that is impossible. It has to be consolidated systematically. To achieve its ultimate consolidation, it is necessary not only to bring about the socialist industrialization of the country and persevere in the socialist revolution on the economic front, but also to carry on socialist revolutionary struggles and socialist education on the political and ideological fronts. Moreover, various contributory why did I stumble on that so hard? International factors are required. So we're talking about what the socialist revolution is, and that is the transition from capitalism or feudalism or whatever to socialism. And they said straight up, we can't do it overnight. Of course you can't. Capitalism wasn't built overnight either. Don't forget that. The number of intellectuals who are hostile to our state is very small. They do not like our state, i.e. the dictatorship of the proletariat, and yearn for the old society. Whenever there is an opportunity, they will stir up trouble and attempt to overthrow the Communist Party and restore the old China. As between the proletarian and the bourgeois roads, as between the socialist and the capitalist roads, these people stubbornly choose to follow the latter. In fact, this road is impossible, and in fact, therefore, they are ready to capitulate to imperialism, feudalism, and bureaucrat capitalism. Such people are to be found in political circles and in industrial, commercial, cultural, educational, scientific, technological, and religious circles, and they are extremely reactionary. The leading bodies and cooperatives must establish the dominant position of the poor peasants and the new lower middle peasants in these bodies, with the old lower middle peasants and the upper middle peasants, whether old or new, as a supplementary force. Only thus can unity between the poor and middle peasants be attained. Moreover, the cooperatives can also be consolidated, production can be expanded, and the socialist transformation of the entire countryside be correctly accomplished in accordance with the party's policy. Otherwise, unity between the middle and poor peasants cannot be attained, the cooperatives cannot be consolidated, production cannot be expanded, and the socialist transformation of the entire countryside cannot be achieved. So, they're talking about starting essentially in little pockets and working out. It wasn't something that just happened. It was something that they had worked very hard over a very long amount of time to accomplish. Here we are 6 years after the revolution, still, pushing for that. There is a serious tendency towards capitalism among the well-to-do peasants. That's still the same today. This tendency will become rampant if we, in the slightest way, neglect political work among the peasants during the cooperative movement and for a very long period after. So don't ignore the more well-off people, but of course there's going to be a more serious tendency towards capitalism when you get towards people that have capital or access to capital. The spontaneous forces of capitalism have been steadily growing in the countryside in recent years, with rich new peasants springing up everywhere, and many well-to-do peasants striving to become rich peasants. On the other hand, many poor peasants are still living in poverty for lack of sufficient means of production, with some in debt and others selling or renting out their land. If this tendency goes unchecked, the polarization in the countryside will inevitably be aggravated day by day. Those peasants who lose their land and those who remain in poverty will complain that we are doing nothing to save them from ruin or to help them overcome their difficulties. Nor will the well-to-do middle peasants who are heading in the capitalist direction be pleased with us, for we shall never be able to satisfy their demands unless we intend to take the capitalist road. Can the worker-peasant alliance continue to stand him in these circumstances? Obviously not. There is no solution to this program except for on a new basis, and that means to bring about, step by step, the socialist transformation of the whole of agriculture simultaneously with the gradual realization of socialist industrialization and the socialist transformation of handicrafts and capitalist industry and commerce. In other words, it means to carry out cooperation and eliminate the rich peasant economy and the individual economy in the countryside so that all of the rural people will become increasingly well off together. We maintain that this is the only way to consolidate the worker-peasant alliance. By overall planning, and they're referring to economic planning, that's a keynote of socialism, is a planned economy. By overall planning, we mean planning which takes into consideration the interests of the 600 million people of our country. In drawing up plans, handling affairs, or thinking over problems, we must proceed from the fact that China has a population of 600 million people, and we must never forget this fact. That was in 1957. China has a lot more than that now. In addition to the leadership of the party, a decisive factor is our population of 600 million people. More people means a greater ferment of ideas, more enthusiasm, and more energy. Never before have the masses of the people been so inspired, so militant, and so daring as at present. I would say that Mao's revolution is still happening to an extent there. Yes, they have allowed some capitalists back in, but they have also, at least claim, to have eradicated extreme poverty in what 50 something years. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. We have, committed a genocide and enslaved an entire race to get where we're at, and we haven't eliminated poverty. So this is an important quote right here. Don't you want to abolish state power? And this is where Marxists, I would say the big break is with anarchists and Marxists. But don't you want to abolish state power? Yeah, we do, but not right now. We can't do it yet. Why? Because imperialism still exists. Because domestic reaction still exists. Because classes still exist in our country. Our present task is to strengthen the people's state apparatus, mainly the people's army, the people's police, and the people's courts, in order to consolidate national defense and protect the people's interests. Our state is a people's democratic dictatorship led by the working class. Can we also, I'm going to go a little bit off topic here, but you want to know why it's the dictatorship of the proletariat? Because Marx acknowledged in his very earlier works that the existence of the state is by definition a dictatorship. Any existence of the state is a dictatorship. The difference is right now we have the dictatorship of the bourgeoisie, and what we need is the dictatorship of the proletariat. So I wanted to clarify that using this terminology, the people's democratic dictatorship, is only saying that it's a form of state government. We live in a bourgeois dictatorship. You and I, right now. Anyway, our state is a people's democratic dictatorship led by the working class and based on the worker-peasant alliance. What is this dictatorship for? Its first function is to suppress the reactionary classes, like taxing the rich. I mean, seizing their assets. Anyway. And elements and those exploiters in our country who resist the socialist revolution to suppress those who try to wreck our socialist construction, or in other words, to resolve the internal contradictions between ourselves and the enemy. For instance, to arrest, try, and sentence certain counter-revolutionaries, and to deprive landlords and bureaucrat capitalists of the right to vote and their freedom of speech for a specified period of time. Okay, so I'm going to interject here to say that I do not agree with the stripping of their right to vote and their freedom of speech. I think that we should not be able to rip those things away, frankly. Anyway. All this comes within the scope of the dictatorship. To maintain public order and safeguard the interests of the people, it is likewise necessary to exercise dictatorship over embezzlers, swindlers, arsonists, murderers, criminal gangs, and other scoundrels who seriously disrupt public order. The second function of this dictatorship is to protect our country from subversion and possible aggression by external enemies, like the United States, for example. In that event, it is the task of this dictatorship to resolve the external contradiction between the enemy and us. The aim is to protect all our people so they can devote themselves to peaceful labor and build China into a socialist country with a modern industry, agriculture, science, culture. Leadership of the working class, revolution fails, and that with the leadership of the working class, revolution triumphs. James said everyone should be allowed to vote and own a firearm, even a felon who's finished their sentence. Yeah, fucking absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely.
However, if you're going to own a firearm, please, as we've said before, seek out training.
Indeed. I'm kind of skipping some stuff. I'm not reading the whole thing. Sorry. Under the leadership of the Communist Party, the Chinese people are carrying out a vigorous rectification movement in order to bring about the rapid development of socialism in China on a firmer basis. It is a movement for carrying out a nationwide debate, which is both guided and free, a debate in the city and in the countryside on such questions as the socialist road versus the capitalist road, the basic system of the state and its major policies, the working style of party and government functionaries, and the question of the welfare of the people. A debate which is conducted by setting forth facts and reasoning things out so as correctly to resolve those actual contradictions among the people which demand immediate solution. This is a socialist movement for the self-education and self-remolding of the people. So they talk a lot in the Little Red Book about contradictions in society, and it's a big thing in Marxism altogether. But the contradictions in society eventually, come face to face with each other, and the only way to get through those contradictions is literally to struggle through them. So that's what they're attempting to do here, or were attempting to do there 60, 70 years ago. But it's important to see that they are practicing what they preach, at least up until this point in history. Most arduous tasks lie ahead of us in the great work of construction. Although there are over 10 million members in our party, they still constitute a very small minority of the country's population. In government departments and public organizations and enterprises, much work has to be done by non-party people. It is impossible to get this work well done unless we are good at relying on the masses and cooperating with non-party people. While continuing to strengthen the unity of the whole party, we must also continue to strengthen the unity of all of our nationalities, democratic classes, democratic parties, and people's organizations, and to consolidate and expand the People's Democratic United Front. And we must conscientiously, oh my God, get rid of every unhealthy manifestation and any link in our work that is detrimental to the unity between the party and people. And that brings us to the end of chapter 3. So that last little quote there is also something that they talked about pretty damn often. When I say they, I mean like Mao specifically. But he talks about continuing the unity, cooperating with non-party people, relying on them for ideas, relying on them to get work done. This is all things that the Black Panther Party, several years later, also pointed out. We have to meet the people where they are. We can't come in and start preaching at a bunch of people and expect them to just agree with you. I mean, you have to struggle together. It can't just be a small 10% of the population saying, hey, this is what we're going to do. Brandy said, to this day in China, most people are not official party members. And that's exactly the point. I think that they have done very well in trying to hear out what the masses want and, trying to move forward and trying to face the contradictions in their society. Have they done it perfect? Fuck no. I would say that expecting them to be perfect in it would be expecting unrealistic expectations out of any state, let alone the Chinese state. Dean, do you want to take us into chapter 4?
Sure. I just wanted to really quick, one, do a time check. Do we have time for chapter 4? And 2, I do have an update on the Boulder situation.
We can save chapter 4 for what are we doing Thursday? I know we have a different stream Thursday. What is it? Is it the movie night thing or is that next week?
That's next week.
Oh my God.
Hi.
What happened? Oh, hey.
Made it.
Hey. Hello.
Are you in your new house? Look at that shit-eating grin. I don't think I've ever seen
yeah.
Trisha that happy.
Oh,
I'm not in
yeah.
the No, I just dropped that one off at the shop because there's not room in the driveway here for both to be parked here at once. So I just dropped that off and just got back to the insane asylum. So I'm in the old one right now. But I just sent a photo to the group chat of about 20 minutes ago when I was still sitting in the new one.
It looks
it's so
fucking amazing.
drives you.
It looks
I'm
fucking
loving it.
amazing. I can't wait to see it. I'm so excited.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I'm loving
I'm
it.
sorry. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist.
Yeah. Tell us. Hey, so you're on your phone, right? Are you in your new dwelling?
No, she just
No.
said that.
Okay.
No.
I'm sorry. I was doing something in another screen. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all good. No, I just dropped that one over at the shop because my mechanic is actually buying the 454 out of this one.
Nice.
So he's letting me use the back lot for the extra room to be able to move all my stuff out of this one and into that one starting tomorrow. So I just dropped that off up there. But dude, it drives so beautifully. So beautifully. I have never had a motorhome that didn't bitch and complain about even trying to go over 55 on the expressway. This fucker was sailing 70, just purring away.
I
was
so
like,
fucking
giggity.
happy for you.
Me too. That's awesome.
Thank you. Him too. And this was a massive solidarity and mutual aid on behalf of my family.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have been able to afford this nice solo.
Yeah, when you told me about it, I was like, hell yeah.
Right?
I'm so happy for you.
Right?
Mom's happy for you. She was so surprised. She was like, no fucking way. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't even shown her pictures yet. I'm not letting her know what it looks like until you come up here.
Oh my God, she's going to die. She's going to love it.
Yeah,
She's seen
I don't think you're going to be able
to.
to. I have no idea how you're going to park it in the driveway, though. It's 40 foot by 20 foot. I think there will be just enough space.
Well, I will take up the majority of one side of that. There'll still be parking for 3 to 4 other cars on the other side of me, and possibly one behind me. It's 32 foot.
Okay,
32
yeah, we'll be fine. Everything
Definitely not behind you, Trisha. And
no.
I also don't know that measurement is accurate. I think your best bet's going to be to pull it up alongside of the house, but
we can't. That's somebody else's property. But anyway.
We'll figure it out when I get there. But I can't wait to set sail.
Yay, let's burn that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. So, Trisha, we are in the... Hold on, wait for it.
Chapter 4.
We are in the Revolutionary Left Book Club. Isn't this fancy?
It's outstanding.
It is. I dig it. I'm liking the layout here in StreamYard. That's pretty fucking nifty.
And we have comments on the right side of the screen. I don't know how that works on a mobile device, but
I'm still running it old school. I got the second screen so I can watch the comments before they pop across my screen.
Fuck.
Dig it.
Anyway, did you have anything that you wanted to say about Chapter 3? We're going to save Chapter 4 for Thursday.
Okay, give me just a second, or if you can actually pop up that part that I had pulled the quote of into there. I'd slapped it in the presentation last night. My apologies that I didn't get to Chapter 4 today. Things were insane. But this one here, yes. Right, shit happens. Socialist revolution aims at liberating the productive forces. That right there is why I picked this one out of chapter 3, because I fucking love that. It gets straight to the goddamn point.
Yeah, and I actually dove into that a little bit because we read a good chunk of chapter 3 like out loud.
Yeah, we did.
And I made it a point to break down that when they're talking about the productive forces, they're talking about you and me and Dean and John. We are the productive forces.
Mm-hmm. The producers. It's getting down to the nitty fucking gritty right there of the people who are doing the producing own or should own that means of production and therefore the profits from it, not somebody else capitalizing off of your fucking labor. But if you want to pop that back up, I will continue through the rest of that quote and we can break it down. Please and thank you. It'll be quicker than me pulling my tablet up. The changeover from individual to socialist collective ownership in agriculture and handicrafts. Notice what is specified there, not your fucking house, okay, but starting with agriculture and handicrafts from capitalist to socialist ownership in private industry and commerce is bound to bring about a tremendous liberation of the productive forces. Thus, the social conditions are being created for a tremendous expansion of industrial agricultural production. Now think about that. If that was pushed across the board where we didn't have these fucking capitalist run factory farms that are not only abusing animals and giving you meat that's pumped full of fucking stress hormone cortisol so that you're getting stressed out when you eat it, because remember, you are what you eat. I don't give a fuck how I break that down. If you're eating animals that are stressed out because the chickens are cooped fucking stacked a dozen fucking high, shitting on top of each other's heads, guess what? You're eating that cortisol stress hormone. Now, if we were to eradicate that form of farming for the agriculture alone and switch this over to actually having these means of production in full owned by the farmers themselves who are out there taking care of these animals, think about how much higher quality food we're going to get for one. Happy animal equals happy food, not filling you full of stress hormones. But that's before we even get to the part of where you would actually be seeing a proper return for your fucking labors, not your shit getting exploited so that this massive fucking agricultural company can make a fuck ton of money off of your labor. That's been a big problem we've seen over recent decades, that farmers are going fucking broke. The small time guys that keep everything really fucking going on a local level, the motherfuckers you better hope you know if the shit does hit the fan, because they're going to be the ones who are still operating. These are the people being left behind by this capitalist system, especially when the system is choosing to feed itself, where things like farm grants and such are going mostly to major corporate farms and not into the hands of people who just own a farm that they live on, who actually use the funding. Shit needs to change. And that's just one facet. Anybody else got anything to throw in on there?
God, I missed you.
Outstanding and eloquent and passionate and precise, as always. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, don't mind me jumping and squealing every now and then. My cat is sitting next to me, and as usual, he is playing the battle cat role very well and is planting claws in my leg trying to get my attention.
Which one is it?
Nico.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yep. Yes, the battle cat. He's over here. He's anchoring himself on my leg now to bathe himself, but a moment ago he was in full attack mode. He's trying to get to my pouch string. I haven't even taken my drink and my keys off of me because I literally just stepped back in the door and was like, "Hi guys." Anywho, back to the subject at hand, Little Red Book.
Remember, I am the one you're teaching this to. I've never read it, and I've kept it that way. That way, I can learn it from you guys.
Well, there's nothing wrong with going through and
So-
reading it now. We have a copy of it in
No,
our.
no.
our
This is really fun.
library.
This is. Bear with me. This is really fun for me. You guys teaching me something for once. This is great.
Right? Usually
And I
you're
mean,
the one.
Mao is easier to jump into than trying to read like fucking 600 pages of Capital, bro.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. However,
Mao-
I personally do want to read. It's a book that examines things that went wrong in Russia. I would like to read that as Patreon exclusive content. That way, it serves nothing to get stagnant in one viewpoint. If we're all agreeing with each other and not bringing in outside ideas and perspectives, then we get what happened in Russia, what happened in other places that right now I can't seem to bring to mind.
Speaking of other places that you can't seem to bring to mind, I want to talk about. Well, we have some, but I want to talk about Cuba.
Oh yeah. Me and you, Cuba. Let's talk about it. Patreon exclusive content, ladies and gentlemen, and my non-binary comrades, and Elon Musk, who is apparently some sort of demigod. I don't believe that shit, but that's what everybody else public perspective seems to portray him as, some sort of Jesus Tony Stark when he's
That's correct.
So-
And after all, he did invent the womanless
Yeah.
mop.
I mean, yeah, and I mean, you know, pay no attention to his business and blood diamonds, but
Right?
mm,
Don't pay
Mm.
that shit no mind. They don't want you noticing that.
I've been sitting on that one for a while. I've been wondering if I should ever bring it up when we're talking about him.
Please do.
Yeah, that to me, that kind of blood doesn't wash off. I don't care how nice you pretend to be to the public. That kind of shit just does not simply wash away.
No.
People don't forget.
In fact, I don't even care if it's true. Bring it up. Bring it up. Make it up.
No, we're not CNN.
Oh,
we're not the
sorry.
corporate entertainment media.
Damn it.
We
not Fox.
are.
We don't need fake news.
We
don't-
are. For we are many.
Sorry about showing you my tits there.
Great.
Hey. Dean, you made me blush. Good thing I've got the lighting down low. You can't tell.
Well, we can talk about Grimes.
Hold on. Check out this comment. Elon Musk is the modern Thomas Edison, a thief who puts his name on the inventions of better people.
Brandy, I don't know where you've been this whole time, but yes, absolutely. You've
Yeah,
been a delight to have in the
exactly.
comments so far.
So, Trisha, you've been on the road most of the day. Have you heard about the happenings of today?
Only what you guys have been updating in the group chat if you're referring to the live shooter and such.
Yeah, I do have an update about that. Apparently, the bloody leg guy that we may or may not have seen, if you did or did not see that on the live stream and the various shots, I guess he was the suspect. He is in custody. I believe there is now 10 victims in total, including a police officer. They're not releasing.
Is that deaths or injured?
Deaths?
Wow.
No, 10 people is the total. I have a rule I like to share with you when I'm done with this update. Again, they're not releasing much information about this as it stands right now. A gunman did open fire at a grocery store in Boulder. He killed 10, including a police officer. The suspect is in custody and was injured during the shooting, says a spokesman for the police. It's a tragedy and a nightmare. District Attorney blah. And then it goes on to talk about the fellow who was the live shooter. I think I gave that. If I didn't, I will. I think I gave the link to that live stream. I said live shoot, that live stream in the comments. I would like to point out something that may not be obvious about this. This makes, I think, the 7th mass shooting in Colorado since Columbine in 1999.
You know, I went to school with one of the Columbine shooters. He was a couple years ahead of me, and he had moved away before I had moved up into that school. But he was from Oscoda.
Oh, I did not know that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Well, they killed 13 total, 15 counting themselves. In 2012, a man walked in the front row of a crowded movie theater. We all might remember. He killed 12 people, injured another 12, wounded 58 rather.
We have a couple of comments. Brandy said that she is new here, so I just wanted to give her a shout out. Welcome to the party.
Indeed. Fuck yeah.
Hopefully you'll like what you're seeing and you'll come back on Thursday or next Monday.
If you're secretly Elon Musk. I'm not going to go into it. I'm sorry.
Pockets.
Shooter had a long gun.
Yeah. If you're secretly Elon Musk, I do not intend to purchase your double-wheeled penny farthing bicycle that's electric. No, thank you. Anyway.
We need to talk about Ron's comment here. The shooter had a long gun. Didn't identify the caliber. I have some questions because it's kind of it's hard to maneuver a long gun. So I'm wondering what you're meaning by a long gun. If it was maybe like a AR-15 platform, I could see that. But anything like an M14 or any longer barrel than that, I have questions as to how he was able to shoot 10 people.
Well, he shot more than 10. He killed 10.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. This is especially not the time to be misquoting things. But that being said, I have no idea what Colorado's COVID regulations right now are.
Pretty much non-existent like the rest of the country. Okay,
so the grocery store was probably packed. I don't have enough information on this.
Right. Well, here's my follow-up on my last statement about this story. In my experience, I apply what I refer to as the 3-day rule. And that has not changed. I thought it might change as a result of social media, but it has not. Day one, you know that something happened. You may not know who. You may not know exactly what. You might know where. Day two, you might know who and where. And by day 3, you'll know who, what, and where, and everything after that is basically bullshit. This is a philosophy that I formed after 9/11. It seemed to me that after the 3rd day, there really wasn't anything new, compelling, or merit-worthy after about day 3. And this isn't my original idea. This isn't some philosophy that I cooked up. It's something that's well known in communications theory, and I just kind of distilled it down to that and applied it to news.
James said mass shootings make people with guns look bad.
Absolutely.
Right. Yep. And I mean, almost every time, we'll see about this shooting, but almost always it was either a gun that came from somebody else or a gun that they had just got. I'm just interested to see if that trend continues.
We'll know in about 3 days.
Ron said that Eric Harris was from Oscoda. You are correct, Don.
Crazy, man. That's crazy.
Randy said, well, I do live in Austin, which he's been haunting lately. I'm not sure what that's in reference to. And Ron said the witness did not specify. She saw him across the parking lot.
Wow. Yeah, man, that's there's nothing really that you can say that can comprehend the magnitude. About the only thing that really comes close to it is we've lost approximately 650-ish people to COVID today. I mean, even that doesn't really compare. It's strange times, ladies and gentlemen, we live in.
I think it's time for the good news portion, Rob.
Speaking of COVID stats, just a quick plug. As you see on the ticker at the bottom of your screen, we have a COVID stats page on our website now. That's for wearemany.com/COVID-stats. And then take it away into good news, Don.
All right, bring it on me. Cut the beats, if you would. I want it to
Why would I do that?
Because I want it to be my deep and sexy voice, Rob. No, I just trust me. I'm gonna read something. It's not necessarily good news or bad news. It's simply something that I was reading recently while we were making this, actually. And it spoke to me, and I think it'll help, maybe help some of you. A man is born gentle and weak. At his death, he is hard and stiff. Even grass is soft and flexible in life. In death, it is dry and brittle. Therefore, that which is stiff and unbending is the disciple of death. That which is gentle and yielding is the disciple of life. An army without flexibility never wins a battle. A tree that is unbending is easily broken. The rigid will fail. The flexible will overcome. Earlier in the stream, I said that flexibility is the word of the day. Do not get stagnant and complacent in your day-to-day life. Nothing is guaranteed. The situation is constantly changing. Do not get comfortable where you're at. Remember to not be too rigid with your way of thinking. And like I said earlier, if we all agree with each other, then we get situations like what happened in the Gulag Archipelago in Russia, or probably worse situations, Nazi Germany. We all can't just blindly agree. So remember to be flexible and listen to other people's ways of thinking. And that's all I've got for today. As always, remember to check out our dark web domain, our shop. We've got energy drinks there made with real tiger's blood and Charlie Sheen DNA, guaranteed to max your deadlift to over 9,000 pounds. It's really not impressive. Everybody that's tried it is now deadlifting over 9,000 pounds. It's just some shit, man. Again, that is for We Are Many. I don't know the dark web stuff. Normally Dean's got this for me, but he appears to have dropped. It's just me and Trisha. I'm kind of panicking.
No, you're never alone, my friend.
There's the voice of Dean. That deep voice. Dean, take it away with the dark web info.
Hey, listen, guys, if I have to tell you, right? If I have to point it out for you, it's easy to find. You'll have no issues finding it on your own. You can also find us at your local liquor stores and convenience stores. We have a very special display at select merchant partners.
We're out back. There's typically two of us. One of us is tall, one of us is short. Both of us wearing trench coats. Don't be afraid.
That's correct. And if our heads turn into apples and the other eats the other's head, that's normal. It's 100% normal.
Don't take the brown
not
acid.
a problem. Yeah, not a problem. Especially do not take the brown. Right.
And just so you know, I'm usually the tall one, and within my trench coat is plenty of super Antifa slut drugs for your vagina.
You heard it here first. Rob probably missed most of that, and he is happy with it.
No, he didn't.
I didn't miss nothing.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
I was eating off the air. And now I'm eating on the air.
Which reminds me, I forgot the leftovers of my Chinese takeout in the fridge of the other motorhome.
Well, shit.
It's pretty late here, and I'm going to go turn on the grill and grill up some kogels.
Nice.
Yeah.
I had some kogels for lunch.
Hell yeah.
So, Rob, can you get kogels down there? How'd you get kogels?
Once a year. Once a year. They come out here with trucks.
Wow. Are you kidding? That's awesome.
Right?
I have a lot of friends that have not had the experience of a natural casing kogel Vienna hot dog. If you have no idea what we're talking about, we may be able to help you with that. But you haven't eaten a hot dog, is my view. The Detroit Coney Islands will claim that Dearborn and Kowalski's and others are superior. They're not, and most of the Detroit Conies are actually using kogels. A lot of the Detroit Coney fetishists don't realize that.
Kogels are hands down the best hot dogs fucking ever.
Emily says go ahead.
Emily, you are Rob's hero. I want you to know that. He might not have acknowledged it. He might not have said thank you, but deep down inside, he would not have waited 4 hours for some fucking hot dogs.
Oh, he probably would have for her.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. For her, yeah.
He's
He
shaking his head
about it the whole time.
I'm calling bullshit, and I don't accept that. That is not for We Are Many. That is only for We Are a couple or two or three. For We Are Many would wait online. Hey, listen, if your hot dogs have turned your water or your utensils pink, you know you're eating garbage.
Mm-hmm.
I have never experienced that. And
that's a common experience.
Now I feel privileged. Not that I'm not already privileged. I mean, let's accept that I'm white and I'm a male. Pretty privileged, but
Emily said Rob would be lost without me, so I put it on the screen.
Yes, he would.
Now it's immortalized.
He would always have me, though.
It really already was. our hearts and our minds, but now it is on screen as well.
Brandy said, "I've never heard of those."
Yeah.
They're classified.
They're only available on the For We Are Many Poor.
Hold on, I got you a link.
They're not called Kegel hot dogs. If that's what you're thinking, you're heading in the completely wrong direction.
Wrong direction.
Please don't use these for Kegels.
Right.
Kogel.
Although if you're a man, you could probably manage it.
Oh God.
What is wrong with you?
If you're doing your male Kegels. What's wrong with you?
Fuck yeah.
Come on.
Man, so Kogel's on the road takes like truckloads out here. They're doing Florida now for the first time this year.
Wow, nice.
Wow.
I'm really happy to hear that they're doing that.
Same.
This is how
because
Michigan takes over.
the country has been missing out to not have Kogels available to them.
Well, I know that they were distributing with Costco, so a lot of Kogel products have matriculated into a lot of states that wouldn't normally be getting them. So I really am looking forward to seeing this become a nationwide brand. Because I think that once they do catch on, Nathan's is finished, Hebrew National's finished, anything from Eckridge is finished. Seriously.
Kiss your Oscar Myers the fuck goodbye.
Yes, Oscar Mayer. I couldn't think of the. Thank you. I was trying to remember the name of that. I haven't eaten one in a million years, so I can't remember. But yeah, it is really a lovely experience. And some folks, when they first experience the casing hot dog, it's a bit odd to them, but for those people, I recommend grilling them to the point of splitting, and then work your way to eating them right out of the fridge, out of the package.
like us Michiganders.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Although I will say, I always have and always will prefer them grilled all to fuck till they're nice and charred and split. It's so fucking delicious.
Yeah. The holy.
I know that Emily would agree with you. There's probably going to be a comment in like 10 seconds.
About Kegels? Male Kegels?
No.
Oh.
How do we keep getting back to that, Dean?
Because I think it's hilarious that Steve Jobs tried to juice his and male Kegel, and I'm not even joking, his pancreatic cancer away, the only form of curable pancreatic cancer, as if this country's not suffering from enough affluenza. We have that.
The fuck did he think doing Kegels was gonna do to help pancreatic cancer?
Something to
You're
do
just
with
exercising your dick lifting muscles.
something to do with overall health and well-being, I suppose.
I'm very.
It's a billionaire bullshit, if you ask me.
I'm very confused.
So back on to hot dogs. Emily said
Jesus
burnt or
Christ.
bust.
Yes.
You didn't need to yell, Rob. I have headphones in. God damn.
So do I, bro. What do you think these are? You think they're part of my head, bro? No.
Listen, I'm sorry I raised my voice. I was just telling you that I don't need you to raise yours.
Oh
I love
my.
I have a new microphone, Rob. I'm
Me
so excited.
too.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a new camera, bro.
Nice. I'm excited. I'm gonna be getting a new camera here soon. Jesus. Okay. Hey.
I think I
Closing
just got the
statements.
COVID.
Closing statements. We're at 3:23:40.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm right.
you're a closing statement.
Human being.
You can find us.
Being.
You can find us all over social media. We are on Twitter. We are on Facebook. We have 2 groups on Facebook. We are on Instagram. We are on TikTok. I don't know why I still have SoundCloud down here. Honestly, since we've been on podcast platforms, I haven't even bothered uploading to SoundCloud. We're on YouTube. We're on forwearemany.org. There's a lot of stuff on forwearemany.org. And then, of course,
Right.
there's www.patreon.com/forwearemany. If you want to start trying to get some access to the exclusive content that we will be recording soon.
We are also on Your Mom, and it's nice.
Oh, wow. What are we, children?
Yes. No, not really, but
I hope you brought burn heel. That was a sick burn.
You're a sick burn.
If anyone makes lo-fi, if anybody watching this makes lo-fi and can hook us up with some dirty Zen beats, we need it. We need our own lo-fi.
Yeah, I'd second that, actually.
are you shielding yourself from a dog cart or something?
Yep, exactly right.
Called it.
Exactly right. The American,
Anyway,
This has been a lot of fun, guys.
Terrier.
it's always a lot of fun.
I have
I
one
know,
closing comment. I have only one thing to say. Ladies and gentlemen, as evidenced by the news today, please do your best to be aware of the exits and entry, the egress and ingress points of any building that you're in. Have a plan. Anything could happen, and just have a plan. And that plan doesn't mean standing your ground and being a hero. That means unass in that area as fast, as rapidly, and as effectively as you can, and with your loved ones in tow.
Indeed. We love you guys.
I have one more thing. Ladies, gentlemen, and all my non-binary comrades, flexibility is the word of the day. Be flexible.
Do your hot yoga.
Do
Mind
your
and
hot
body.
yoga.
Before we dip out, we have a new comment. Kathy is just off of work. She's gonna have to listen to the rebroadcast. We're on YouTube. It'll be on podcast platforms tomorrow. Should be. And
Facebook Live as we close. It'll be open instantly. And I don't believe we shared or played anything that would constitute a violation, so it should be up right away.
We're getting ahead of this, Dean. That's good.
Brandy said that she'll be here for the next one. That will be Monday at 8 Eastern time.
Hell
Sweet.
yeah.
Fuck yes.
Thank
you for joining us, Brandy.
Yep. Thank you.
And Kathy. Is Natalie here tonight too?
She is.
Yeah, she was asking about you earlier. I think that she dipped out though.
Oh, okay. I'll have to touch base with her.
Indeed.
All right. Oh, love you guys.
Love you
Much
all.
love. Let me see if I can turn the camera. Solidarity.